Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Bowl TV. This is Matt Canizaro live at the National Bowling Stadium. We're here at the 2013 USBC Open Championships. We've got a great show for you today. Again, we're going to turn back the clock a little bit to see the classic styles. The PBA50 Tour stars, Bob Learn Jr., Kenny Parks, USBC Hall of Famer Dave Sutar, and more. Practice is underway right now. We are behind lanes 33 and 34 here at the NBS. It's going to be a great day. Looking forward to it. Got a few special guests lined up today as well. So sit tight. We appreciate everybody joining us, and we'll be right back with the action from the 2013 USBC Open Championships. All right, we're now inside the 2-minute warning here at the 2013 USBC Open Championships. PBA50 stars are getting loose and ready to put on a show for us here at the National Bowling Stadium. Looking forward to it. Aaron Smith will be joining us here in just a minute. And his bowling hero, the man with the mullet, Kenny Parks. Aaron's been looking forward to this broadcast all year. I believe it might even be the reason that he came to work this year in Reno. And here we are. They switched dates on us, but we managed to get him on the schedule. And they promised to put on a show for us, so here we go. Just a couple minutes, practice will be over. And this 3 p.m. team event will be underway. Thanks for joining us. And we'll have that action for you in just a minute. There's your final warning. Practice is now over. It's time to pick your weapon for the afternoon, gentlemen. It's your one shot this year on the Open Championships lanes. That's what it's all about. We work hard for this. Come out and take our one shot at it. So here we go. We'll have the rundown of the lineups for you in just a minute. Aaron Smith will be joining us with all the background info. And there's the sound of the bell. First two bowlers up today will be USBC Hall of Famer, the only bowler to win the USBC Masters and Senior Masters, Dave Sutar. Spent more than 5 decades on the PBA Tour. And on the right, 2008 Senior Masters champ Kenny Parks. Appreciate everybody stopping by. For those of you just joining us, we are live at the National Bowling Stadium. This is Matt Canizaro, Aaron Smith on his way shortly. PBA50 Tour stars on display here at the Open Championships. Got all our cameras working, everything in order today. Everything looks good. Got our split screen. There's a great shot there from Roy Cook. Got some celebrities in the building today as well, planning to stop by while we're on the air. Saw Lenny Boris Jr. Multiple titles here at the Open Championships, a couple 300 games. Also a standout on the PBA50 Tour. He promised he'd stop by. Eric Pearson, USBC Women's Championships Tournament Manager, in the building as well. Hope to have him on to talk a little bit about what's happening across town at the USBC Women's Championships, the first time in history, both events being held in the same host city in the same year. Women's Championships being held at the Reno Sparks Convention Center on a fantastic 44-lane venue. A great opportunity for our female members to come and compete in 2 national tournaments in just 1 trip. Shani Plahowski, Team USA member, took advantage of that opportunity. She took the scratch all events lead at the Women's Championships last night, and she is bowling with us here today at the Open Championships. She's down on lane 49. So if you'd like to follow along on xbowling.com or on your X-Bowling Tournament Edition app on your iPhone or Android device, you can do that. Just pick the Open Championships, and you can either type in Shanda's name or pick lane 49. She's bowling with Megan Kelly, USBC Hall of Famer Linda Kelly. So check that out again, lanes 49 and 50 here at the National Bowling Stadium. See if Plahowski can make a run here at the Open Championships as well. So now back to lanes 33 and 34 here at the MBS. Our first look at Mr. 300, as they call him, Bob Learn Jr. He's made quite an impact on the PBA50 Tour. He's now throwing Deviate equipment. That one gets a little bit wide right, looks like the Deviate Diva. So he's looking at the 1-2 spare. Dave Bernhardt Sr. up on the left lane. He's the man behind Turbo Grips. Had a great idea back in 1989, and it has grown into what it is, a huge grip and accessories manufacturer. Spent some time at the Turbo facility in Michigan back when we lived in Milwaukee. Had the opportunity to get some coaching from USBC Gold coach Lou Marquez, and now these guys are out and about doing some Turbo Tech coaching clinics all around town. Bob Learn very busy with that. They have a very nice training center there at the Turbo facility. So if you're in the neighborhood and you want some great coaching, certainly stop by and check that out. These guys will help get you tuned up, especially if you're headed to the Open Championships. You want to be at your best. That certainly is a great opportunity. One of a few fantastic training facilities in the country, along with the International Training and Research Center at the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. And Kegel down in Florida. So no matter where you are, there's something nearby for you to get a look at your game. You got to be at your best when you head out to the Open Championships. Today these guys are bowling on the team event pattern, 41 feet. The scores are a little bit higher this year in the team event for sure. This is the first year in history we have 2 different lane conditions. So there's one for team, that's 41 feet, and another for doubles and singles, which is 39 feet, and a little bit more challenging. We'll talk more about that as we progress here. Aaron Smith is now joining us, and he's going to give us the rundown of who we're watching here on lanes 33 and 4 at the National Bowling Stadium.
All right, Matt. Thanks for having me again. Got a pretty talented group right here. Had a few changes in the roster, so we'll do what we can. So for Turbo Grips 1, Dave Sutar, USBC Hall of Famer. It's going to be followed by Roy Cook, Kevin Chenik, Dave Bernhardt Jr., and Dave Bernhardt Sr. Turbo Grips 2 features Kenny Parks leading off, followed by Eric Tully, Ronald Napawicki, Jeffrey Ostring, and Bob Learn Jr. So certainly got some talented names out there, Matt. Talked to Kenny a little bit before. Kind of stuck with the game plan everyone else was talking about. We've seen a lot of kind of breaking down the outsides and playing around 7, 8, 9 and going from there. So Kenny said he's moved in a little bit since then already. He's kind of going around it with something not as much surface, so he's using a Storm High Road. I'm sure we'll be able to check in with Kenny here and there throughout the event.
Well, Aaron, a few of these guys come from an era, well, of course, where straighter was greater, and they are very good at playing the lane straighter, and of course, they can hook them when they need to as well. But you'll see them effortlessly play up the outside part of the lane like you described, something they're very comfortable and familiar with, and a good strategy here at the Open Championships. Again, every team comes in with a game plan, no doubt, and it's all about execution of that, sticking with it. We talk about that a lot, and there's different strategies or different ways to attack the lanes. That's part of the allure and the goal here at the Open Championships, is that with so many participants, many thousands of bowlers come out with different styles. We want them all to have a chance to get to the pocket. You can attack the lanes from different angles and different styles, and it's really that easy. And then it's a matter of your team putting together the good effort and the strategy, and everything falling into place. We've seen some different strategies throughout the year, and this one very basic. These guys certainly know what they're doing. Many accomplishments on their resumes. You'll have plenty to talk about the rest of the afternoon.
For sure. Fast day for Bob Learn. He's starting off with a DV8 Diva. There was a smorgasbord of equipment down there. So there's a little bit of everything most companies were represented. Saw a few Ebonite, some Motive stuff, Storm, Brunswick.
Look at Aaron Smith bringing the big words to today's broadcast. Smorgasbord.
Every once in a while. It's an exciting day here at the Open Championships. So.
A lot of familiar faces in the building. We got some folks here from Las Vegas as well checking out the National Bowling Stadium. As many of you may have heard, they're about to get started on a $30 million bowling arena as part of the South Point property on the south side of the Las Vegas Strip. And because of that, we'll be headed to Las Vegas quite a few times between now and 2025. Looking forward to it. The women, actually, the USBC Women's Championships headed that way in 2016. Will be the first major national event held in that facility. It'll be in addition to the bowling center that already exists there, and it'll be a 60-lane facility or so. It'll look just like one of our traditional facilities, modeled after what we do year after year since 1901. And they're here to look at the National Bowling Stadium to see what works, what doesn't, as they put together the final design plans for that facility, where we'll be spending a lot of time over the next decade or so. So looking forward to that. Welcome to those guys, and appreciate what they're doing for bowling. Of course, bringing many events, 40 plus USBC events and conventions headed that way. So if you'd like more information about that, you can check out bowl.com. You can also find all the upcoming host cities for the USBC Open and Women's Championships on their respective pages. All that information and much more. If you have any questions, of course, as always, feel free to let us know. Dr. Dean Hinnitz in the building as well. Famous bowling and sports psychologist. Actually, Aaron, I was talking to Michelle Cruz the other day when she was bowling at the Women's Championships. She was struggling in doubles and singles. And she said Dr. Dean stopped by just to say hello. And all of a sudden, her head was on straight and she was able to focus, had a moment of clarity, shot 700 in singles. So Dr. Dean works his magic. He's local here in the Reno area, so always around checking out the great bowlers. No doubt he's worked with many of these folks over the years, whether in the PBA or with Team USA, and always here to offer his insight. And we get to actually see him bowl league every once in a while as well. So not only is he great with helping you get your head straight, but he's a pretty talented bowler as well. So glad to have him in town. Just another great person in the bowling industry.
I got a few folks checking in from back home. Big KP fans. I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but Kenny and I go way back, so.
Well, I actually said that this live stream broadcast right here is the only reason you came to work this year, and you might actually hang it up once we're done here. And you might just ride home.
I may retire. Ride
home with these guys, caddy for them. I know they're headed to Las Vegas. The Senior US Open coming up, USBC Senior Masters, not too far away. They actually drove in from Las Vegas yesterday. I talked to Bob Learn while he was on the road, riding with Kenny. So I would not be surprised if you didn't show up at work tomorrow if you were a stowaway in that vehicle. It sounds like a good time and a nice party there.
For sure.
On the way to Las Vegas. So it's been nice having you.
Yeah, it's been fun. We've had a good run. But yeah, a few folks checking in back home. Charlie Jones, Josh Toth. Hopefully a few more will tune in throughout the day and watch KP and these talented guys. So if they're back home, they gotta do it, Matt. Oh yeah, sure.
I have a feeling this is going to be just one long inside joke for the next 3 hours.
Well, Northwest Indiana a little bit, maybe. I've already brought up to Kenny to see if we can get a mammy or two by the end of the night. So, folks back home know it's a sight to see. So, maybe we'll get lucky.
Nice crowd on hand and in the chat room. We appreciate everybody being here. You are live at the 2013 USBC Open Championships. This event coming to a close soon. How about that? It is day 90.
It's hard to imagine.
It feels like we just had the kickoff show where we unveiled this year's lane conditions, 2 conditions for the first time in history. And now it's already 90 days in. This year's event kicked off March 1st and will conclude on July 7th after 125 days of competition, with a short break in there for the USBC Senior Championships, which you can read it all about on bowl.com. That'll be the first week in July. We've got great players all the way till the end. There's a great shot from Kenny Parks for a 4-bagger.
Kenny's coming in at 6 feet 8 inches. So is he the tallest guy we've live streamed up to this point here at the Open Championships?
That is entirely possible. So we've got some questions rolling in already. Chris Shipman wants to know Bob's record for a 3-game televised set. It is still a record, yes. 850 for 3 games, 570 for the first 2, and 1129 for his 4 games on TV that day. I believe that was 1999.
Pennsylvania, right?
So all of those still records. Bob Learn certainly still has the magic as well. Now excelling on the PBA50 Tour.
I think we were reading an article about Bob not too long ago. Had somebody said the longest 300 game ever.
Yeah, it's was it a blackout or something to that effect?
I think so.
I think he had the front 8 and lights went out and they waited a while and waited and then no problem. Lights came on, warmed up, finished off the 300. That's what happens when you have hundreds and hundreds of perfect games. Nothing rattles you. See if we can see a perfect game here today. We saw one not too long ago, live here on Bowl TV. Will Garber, the son of former PBA exempt player Wayne Garber. We actually were watching Hall of Famer Jeff Riggles, lifetime average leader Gail Myers Jr., And Will just a few lanes away. Managed to become the first and only left-hander at this year's event with a perfect game. He's a two-hander from the left side. Finish that off. You can see that in our Bowl TV archives, actually, and it's very cool. It's almost like watching ESPN Classic. We had a camera glitch that night, and it's in black and white. No black and white today. Everything working well so far. We got our 3 camera views. A lot of strikes on the board already. For those of you following along at home, xbowling.com or your xbowling app on your iPhone or Android device. You're curious how Shannon Pluhowski is bowling. She is down on lane 49. Started today with 4 spares. Trying to make her move here in all events. She's the all events leader at the USBC Women's Championships. Shot 21.50. Bowled all 9 games yesterday. You can read about that on bowl.com. Another talented left-hander right next to her. On lane 52, Kelly Ray from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There's a team to keep your eye on, Aaron, as the afternoon progresses. Yeah, talented bowlers. Stephen Hawk, Stace Bolander, shot 20.75 in Las Vegas. Was an early leader in all events. Got to talk to him. And on Shannon's pair on lane 50, Mandy Wilson, familiar name from USBC Queens and US Women's Open and other top ladies events. Also the Women's Championships. Starts with the front 5. So no doubt we've seen our share of strikes here in the team event. The 41-foot pattern. Very conducive to high scores. While we have that segue, Aaron, let's take a look at the top 10 right now. I believe the number to get into the top 10 is 34-36, a record number of 3,400s this year at the Open Championships. And Kenny Parks trying to get his team there with a 5-bagger as well.
Yes, you were correct. 34-36 rounds out the top 10 in regular team. Still on top with the all-time record score, 35-38. Lodge Lanes 2 out of Orlando, Florida. Sitting in second right now are team all events leaders. Junior Team USA Support 1 out of Mansfield, Texas, 35-21. Leaf Lovers out of Justin, Texas. Although all 5 members will be bowling for Team Canada here in next upcoming months, 35-09. Red Carpet Lanes sitting in 4th out of Waukesha, Wisconsin, 34-99. And John Zerbinski and his talented crew, CareerAthletics.com, is in 5th with 34-69. Once again, 34-36 rounds out the top 10. That is Matt McNeil's Lynn's Lakers 1.
So this year, a record number of 3,400s. I believe 13 is the number we're at now. Previous record was 7 in 2011. And this year's pattern, not too much different than 2011, but I think this new Kegel oil, the Kegel ice, designed to hold up a little bit longer, so you're going to see a little bit less transition, have to make fewer moves as the team event progresses. And I think that's allowing teams to stay a little bit comfortable and not really have to think through too many different changes during the team event, and in turn leading to higher scores. Of course, something we have now that we didn't have back in 2011, the 900 Global Showcase Lanes. And that is your opportunity to get your team together prior to competition. Downstairs, 10 brand new lanes added to the National Bowling Stadium, part of a $15 million renovation process. But the showcase lanes were introduced last year in Baton Rouge. We had 4 lanes there, 10 lanes now. And you have the opportunity to go down and test your game plan and your equipment on this year's team lane condition. So for $100, you and 9 of your teammates can go down there and see how the strategy is going to work out. Make some changes and try some different things if you'd like. For an extra $100, you can spend an hour with USBC Silver coach Matt McNeil, who will give you his expert advice on what he's seen working here at the Open Championships this year. And he'll help get you lined up, get your equipment ready for a big showing upstairs at the Open Championships in this team event. If you're curious about how to sign up or need more information, you can go to bowl.com/showcase lanes. It'll give you everything you need to know and the phone number to where you can get your team signed up so you can make sure that you are prepared when you take the tournament lanes. You only get one shot at it. And this is it for Kenny Parks. He's making the most of it. 5 for 5. See if he can keep it up here on the live stream broadcast.
There's a rough break for Bob Learn Jr. Pocket 7-10.
I say Bob makes a run at this. He can certainly fire it down there still. Some great bowlers next door as well. Bob Chamberlain Sr. shot 300 here a couple of years ago. Gene Vincent, familiar name from the senior tour.
Yeah, pretty impressive squad out here. Is that the Steve Cook on 28?
Steve Cook's bowling supply, yep, that would be the Steve Cook.
How about that?
I wonder who's taller. I think Kenny Parks might have, at least with his hair. Steve Cook, a booming left-hander. Many, many PBA titles. USBC Hall of Famer Dave Sutar up on the right.
Ran a little high there for the fast 8.
Good job. He's got the world champion next to his name. He was a USBC Masters champion back in 1973, I believe was the year. Also, as we mentioned earlier, the first and only bowler to win both the Masters and the Senior Masters. Kenny Parks, 2008. Senior Masters champ up on the left, looking to make his 6 in a row here to start his 2013 campaign.
That's a 4-pin there.
Parks slow and steady. Looks like he's going with a shinier ball than we've seen. But his slower ball speed, he's able to finesse it a little bit.
Yeah, once again, Kenny tried about 4 or 5 different balls in practice, it looked like. And he found a storm high road that he liked quite a bit. And he even talked about going a little bit more around everybody else just as his game works out here. So
Kenny Parks, slow and steady, usually wins the race. That's what they say.
Kenny's certainly been winning a lot recently. So he's that Masters title was actually his first PBA and his only PBA title, and he's turned that into a fantastic run in the senior regionals as well. So he's
in double digits now, I believe 10.
That is true.
PBA senior regional titles. Also had his chance to bowl on the USBC Clash of Champions. I was watching that earlier today. Just checking out, going back to 2009, the Reno Event Center right across the street actually. We were in town for the Women's Championships, USBC Convention, and the Queens, all happening back then, and the Clash of Champions brought in the Queens, Senior Masters, collegiate singles, you name it. If you won a major USBC title.
Youth Open as well. And
all those bowlers got the chance to step up and bowl against each other for, was it $50,000?
$50,000, I believe so, Matt. I know KP ended up
just missing the semifinals. Actually lost to eventual champion Chris Barnes.
Very true, very true. That was a fun week. I got to sit in the stands and watch that one. Kind enough to give me the day off. So, but yeah, that was. I remember Bo Burton was calling that one, and after everyone finished up, I had caught up with Kenny and kind of back in the locker room, or the whatever you want to call it. Really kept all the equipment and all the stuff, and Bo just walks in out of nowhere and congratulated Kenny, and he's like, Never seen you bowl before, but that was fantastic.
Well, he was throwing a Mo Rich ball on the TV show. Came up a little bit short against Barnes, and it was kind of a shootout type format. And whoever gets the least amount of pins down is eliminated. And Kenny gave it a good run. Lost to Barnes, and Barnes went on to the semifinals at that point and went on to win, matching his wife, Linda, who won the first and only other Clash of Champions. So bookend Clash trophies at the Barnes house.
Well, if you ask Kenny, he'll say Chris got lucky on a few of those shots. So.
All right, Aaron, there's a question in the chat room about PBA members being allowed to bowl in this event, and that's something that has always been in place. Now, this event open to all USBC members, and at this point, the only bowlers excluded from competition here at the Open Championships are ones who were exempt on the PBA Tour. That was an easy way to classify things until the PBA went away from the exempt status after last season. So the way that it works is if you were exempt during the 11-12 season, you were not eligible to compete at the Open Championships in 2012. And per the original rule, should you leave the tour and lose your exemption, you would have to sit out 1 year. That would be this year. So anybody who was exempt during 11-12 could not bowl last year or this year and would be welcome back in 2014. However, there is a tweak to that rule with the PBA season now going away from the exemptions and running from January 1st to December 31st. The new rule for 2014 will be if you are in the top 50 on the PBA points list at the end of the season, that'll be in December. The top 50 not eligible for the 2014 Open Championships. And if you've won a title in the last 2 years, you will not be eligible for the 2014 Open Championships. So folks like Don Barrett, Stuart Williams, Josh Blanchard, Scott Newell, they all did win titles last year, but they were never exempt on the PBA Tour. They're out there trying to earn their way just like everybody else, but never were classified as exempt. That is why they're eligible here in 2013. But based on their titles, will not be eligible in 2014. And of course, if they make the top 50. So Bob Learn Jr., just a guy with a day job who is now competing in the limited PBA50 Tour. And John Drabinski is just out there for the first time really giving it a go. And while he is in the top 50 right now, he was not exempt previously, so he is eligible to bowl in this event. Right now in position to win 2 titles, regular singles and regular all events. Still 35 days away from giving him a phone call, but on top of both of those events, and should he win and remain in the top 50 on the PBA Tour, would not be eligible to come back and defend his titles. And of course, any other PBA members, regional or otherwise, who are not on that exempt list, certainly are welcome here at the Open Championships as USBC members. You can only have 2 per team and 1 per doubles team. So hopefully that answers that. So each of these teams we're watching right now has a maximum of 2 PBA members. That's probably part of the reason things were shuffled around and some changes were made, but that's it. 2 members per team. So there you have it. So we'll turn our attention back to the action.
Bob Learn Jr. ended up making a ball change after that 7-10. Like he went to something with a little more surface.
Well, he was throwing that BB-8 Diva, looked a little shiny. First frame, skidded past the head pin. So maybe the lane's not quite opened up yet. Not ready for that ball. And if you're following along at home, lane 52, Rick Justice. Strikes have turned red. He's got the front 7. You can find that on xbowling.com if you want to follow along. Again, that's the team we talked about earlier. Kelly Ray, Stace Bolander, talented group. Kelly Ray is actually my roof guy. How about that, back home? So if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you got roof shingles flying off, Kelly Ray's the guy to call. He made a run at all events in 2006, I believe was the year. So again, talented left-hander. We've got our eyes on that team for sure. A lot of strikes in front of us. Kenny Parks, high-fiving. He's got 6 out of 7.
Yeah, only 2 open so far for Turbo Grips 2 here. Here in the early going to game 1.
So in just a few minutes, Aaron, I have a scheduled visit from the folks at Yahoo. It's yahoo.com. They're on the road on a 27-city tour with a big purple bus trying to interact with folks across the country. A shot there from Bob Lerner with the scout on the 10. The Yahoo folks bringing entertainment, music, comedy to 27 cities across the U.S. They started on May 3rd in New York. The tour is going to end this week in San Francisco, and one of their stops on the way, Reno and the National Bowling Stadium. Get a chance to interact with some bowlers, show off some of the latest and greatest things that Yahoo has to offer, some apps and different things. So looking forward to that. We'll have a recap of that on bowl.com later today. Always excited about the opportunity to show off the National Bowling Stadium. It's fantastic. 78-lane venue here. 4 stories high. The highest ceilings in the sport, no doubt. Video screens and mirrors all around. Bleachers as far as the eye can see. Championship banners hanging from the rafters. And there's no feeling like walking down center aisle. Had the opportunity to show things off to some local media this week, and very impressed. A TV guy came in today, couldn't believe it. First time he walked in and walked up to the 5th floor. And just to take it all in, this year we're using 64 lanes for the Open Championships. We have it walled off, and lanes 69 through 78 being used for the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships presented by USBC. The Storm Bowlers Journal alongside the tournament for the 67th year. So almost 7 decades together in the same city, but for the first time, side by side, literally, here in this one-of-a-kind venue. Kenny Parks makes it 7 out of 8. The Bowlers Journal Championships, your opportunity to get a look at the doubles and singles lane condition. So while you can practice on the team pattern downstairs on the showcase lanes, you can bowl in the Bowlers Journal Championships. Take a look at that double singles pattern, win a little extra prize money at the same time. Get yourself loose and ready. So a lot happening here at the National Bowling Stadium, and we're going to show it off to the folks at Yahoo. So that should be a fun afternoon. Aaron Smith will be on the headset. And again, we have some great guests potentially lined up. We talked to Lenny Borsch Jr. He'll be here. Multiple titles here at the Open Championships. Bowls alongside these senior tour stars. So hopefully have a little bit of insight.
Absolutely.
Women's Championships Tournament Manager Eric Pearson promised to stop by as well. Matt McNeil, USBC Silver Coach, featured coach downstairs in the showcase lanes. Always very insightful when he stops by. And Brent Bowers, former Wichita State standout, now big into the Wichita bowling community. Going to stop by and talk Women's Championships in 2019.
That'll be the 100th anniversary of the Women's Championships as well, and going into a retro stage, we'll be back into a traditional bowling center for the 100th running of the WC. So a lot of exciting stuff. Yeah, you'll have to track all these folks down when you run out to talk to Yahoo there, Matt.
Well, we'll do whatever we can, whatever technology allows us. Always want to entertain the folks at home. We do appreciate everybody joining us. We're live at the 2013 USBC Open Championships. Great bowlers on today's broadcast. We're winding down. Just a couple of broadcasts left. Our next one coming up 2 days from now. the defending scratch team champion, coefficient of friction, at the USBC Women's Championship. So we'll head over across town, about 4 miles away, to the Reno Sparks Convention Center. And we'll see if coefficient of friction can repeat at the Women's Championship. So if you'd like to check out the rest of the live stream schedule, you can find that on bowl.com, the right side of your screen. Lucas Wiseman headed to the Senior Masters soon. We'll have some great action from there. Today's Lucas's birthday, Aaron. So he's probably, hopefully, not watching the broadcast. He's out celebrating somewhere.
Hopefully so. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to put on Facebook, so this is your official happy birthday notice, Lucas. So enjoy. Lucas was just in town a few days back, taking his run at the Open Championships here.
Matt McNeil in the house. Only one lesson today, so he's here to watch some great bowlers. He's sporting his turbo jacket as well. As we said, Dave Bernhardt Sr. is the brain behind Turbo Grips and the whole turbo. I don't know. It's a big conglomerate now. It's a big deal.
Absolutely.
So they do a little bit of everything. Grips, coaching, accessories, you name it. They're in the game. We talked about that. They're a great training facility in Michigan. Doing everything they can to make bowling better. Obviously, Turbo products have helped Mr. McNeil average 250 here at the Open Championships over the last few years. 3 titles, 3 Eagles on the mantle. So those guys must be doing something right. And talked to Dave earlier just to say hello and asked him if he was ready to be on TV today. And he admitted that, you know, he's kind of the man behind the scenes a little bit with the turbo stuff, but that the world is tuning in to see the big dogs, Kenny Parks, Bob Learn Jr., the familiar names.
Kenny ran a little bit high there, leaving the 3.6710. First real glitch we've seen all day out of KP. Like he might have got that ball out a little bit too soon. Right a little too early. KP says no problem with that one. Staying clean here, game number 1. Stepping up on lane 52 very shortly here. Rick Justice going for 9 in a row, Matt.
All right, so perhaps this is the time, if he gets the 9th one, where we send Mr. McNeil on the wireless. That's what he does best. Always out and about in the venue. So we got Matt on the headset. So we watch Dave Bernhardt Jr. He's listed on the Turbo website He's listed on the Turbo website, Dave Bernhardt Jr. is, as a controller. A key part of the Turbo operation for sure. Not sure exactly what that is, but it sounds important. So Bob Learns about to step up on the right lane here, looking for 4 in a row. Trying to get everything situated here. All right, Aaron, new plan. Matt McNeil's headset is going to charge here for a few minutes. So we'll just keep our eye on things.
Looks like
as the run has come to an end anyway.
7 count in the 9th for Rick Justice. So no perfect game in game 1 here, but still a lot of bowling left to be done.
So no justice for Rick here at the Open Championships.
Well played.
We've had just one 800 series at this year's event as well. 813 in the team event by Dean Billings. That included a 300 game, added his name to the short list of folks with a 300 and an 800. It's actually his second 300, had one back a few years ago.
Yeah, it's back-to-back splits for Kenny there. Not the way you want to kick off the 10th frame.
So once again, if you're curious about Rick Justice or Shannon Plahowski, USBC Hall of Famer Linda Kelly, you can find that on xbowling.com or on your X Bowling Tournament Edition app on your iPhone or Android device. Just type in the lane number. Plahowski is on 49 and 50. Rick Justice on 52. So you can follow along frame by frame, see how they're doing, see what they've left. Kenny Parks leaves just the 10 pin there in the 10th. Got off to a great start here in game number 1. Finishes with 231 with the open frame. Sutar stepping up, working on 5 in a row, looking to make it 6. So you put the front half of Kenny's game and the back half of Sutar's game, and you got quite a score there, but unfortunately it's not Open Championship switch, so you get what you get. Sutar mixes them up for the 6-bagger, finishes with 226.
It's that Hall of Fame carry right there. Hitting them thin, watch them spin. Back-to-back splits in the 10th here. This is after a strong start in Turbo Grips 2. Letting a lot of slip away here.
Well, Aaron, we don't call these guys old here at the Open Championships. We call them classic. And then we've added in a little bit of classic, a little bit of timeless. And unfortunately, I don't know how things worked in the old days, but this is a 10-frame game. So let's see if the rest of the guys can get back on it here. So far, the 10th frame looking like a phone number. Need to fill those frames. Get off to a good start here in game number 1. The number they're chasing, 35-38. It is a monster. It is the highest score in tournament history. It's our 110th year. And that is the highest team set ever rolled on the championship lanes, eclipsing the previous record by a single pin. That record stood for 20 years. At the time, it was our oldest record. That is no more. John Gaines, John Janowitz, Scott Newell, Mitch Dubinsky, and Vernon Peterson. Now the record holders and hoping to hold on to win a title here this year as well. So Aaron, after this game, I'm going to take a little walk and see if our Yahoo folks are around. And I'll turn it over to you. We'll let the wireless charge up. I'll keep my eye on you, though.
You better. I'll turn to Kenny Park's Power Hour out here.
Aaron Smith, the president and CEO of the Kenny Parks fan club. You know, Aaron, my first interaction with Kenny was back in 2008 or so, or right before the Clash. After he won the Senior Masters, he's known very much for his haircut, Kenny Parks, and he decided he was going to cut his hair for the Clash. He wanted to have a suave, professional look. And you can tell the rest of that story. I'll be right back.
All right, we'll get back to that story in a second, but right now we have three-time Eagle winner Matt McNeil joining us now. We're working on the wireless set as well, so may get one more out here. But Matt, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Mr. Smith. Good to be here.
Always a pleasure. How's it going?
It's going very well. And just so everybody know, I don't know if you guys mentioned it, but that gentleman down there at the front 8 did not complete, so we don't have to really worry about that. We can go back to focusing on the task at hand here on 33 and 34 on awesome collection of players. One of the best that is definitely going to come through the doors. So we'll definitely see what happens here. Is kind of got a couple rough breaks with a couple splits in the 10th there early, but we'll see what happens here.
Back in business once again, getting the wires tangled up a little bit here, but
little musical headsets.
Musical headsets indeed.
That's right. But quite right, and Mr. Ostrain here is looking at putting up a very nice starting score.
He's got 250s out there, so.
.59. That's pretty nice there.
Very nice. Leading the way for Turbo Grips 2 here.
And then, of course, coming up, Mr. 300, Bob Learn Jr. is taking all the money off the seniors on the PBA 50 Tour. I think everybody's got to start cutting them pills in half because Bob's out there right now. So.
Yeah, Bob's certainly been on a tear.
Oh, boy. Oof.
I'd say he's fortunate to only leave to 3.6, 9.10 there, but that's not a fun spare to shoot at here, is it?
No, that should be counted almost as a double. Like, you know, you bowl one of those fun no-tap tournaments, and if you like pick up the split, they count it as a strike. This spare on this condition, USBC should adopt a rule for that because it is absolutely the hardest, I'd say the hardest makeable spare in the game. There's about 50 ways to miss it and about 2 ways to make it. So Bob's a pretty good spare shooter. We'll see what happens here. Maybe. Oh, very nice pickup.
Without a doubt, that's Bob left a pocket 7-10 in the 5th. He made a ball change, and he hadn't missed up until that. So that was the first errant shot we've seen of him in a while.
And Bob's actually battling some wrist problems right now. I was talking to him this morning. The group was down at the showcase lanes. They were practicing, and me and Bob go back a little bit. And with our affiliation through Turbo Grips. And so I was talking to him this morning. You know, we were just talking about how he's feeling and everything. He hurt himself doing some yard work, and his wrist and the right arm's really been bothering him. So he said he's just not feeling 100%, but he's gonna, give it everything he's got and see what happens out there. But I know he's disappointed that he's not feeling 100%, but nonetheless, he's still Bobbler Jr. and you just never know what's going to happen. He can hang some big numbers on you in a hurry. He might feel like it's 96 and he's in Erie, Pennsylvania again. You never know.
We were talking about that a little bit earlier as well. Bob struck for about 2 hours on that TV show in a row, more or less. So
yeah, that was absolutely amazing. 11:29 he shot. 300, 270, 280, 279. I mean, he missed all of 5 times. That's just insane. With the AMF RPM swirl, curl. When I went over to Turbo Grips, I saw he's got the ball sitting in his office. It's pretty cool. Looks like Kenny made a little move off that split he did there. I think he just went to a different ball.
Kenny was going through a lot of stuff during practice. Kenny's actually back from my hometown.
Oh, really?
Really, yeah. Kenny and I go way back, so it's fun getting to not only watch some great bowling here, but see some friends from back home. So, but yeah, they still even with those 2 splits, 11:03 out there, they quietly put up a really nice starting score. Turbo Grips 1, 998, and to our right, Turbo Grips 3. They have 4 teams out here, 1096. Bob Chamberlain Jr. and Sr. putting up big scores. So
are those the Brunswick Bob Chamberlains? I don't know. I know there's a big Brunswick Bob Chamberlain, and I don't know if it's
that I can't answer, but I can say Bob Chamberlain Sr.'s had a very accomplished senior record as well. So
maybe if somebody knows on the, if anybody watching out there knows, it's probably I almost feel foolish asking, but I didn't know if that was the same guy or not.
Once again, thank you everybody for tuning in and watching today. Once again, this is Aaron Smith and Matt McNeil bringing you Turbo Grips 1 and 2 live. They're just, his ears must have been burning. We see Dean Billings just checked in, telling everybody hello.
Mr. Billings.
Dean, of course, has the only 800 here.
Yes.
The 2013 event so far.
That's an accomplishment right there. I mean, that's fantabulous bowling. Win, lose, or draw on anything. That was just absolutely great bowling out to Dean. So hats off.
Dean wasn't done there. He made a run at the all events number as well, finishing 14 pins shy of John Zerbinski's 22-28. He had a rough game out of the gates and doubles, but bounced back strong after that. I don't think he had a game under 230 after that. So.
Yeah, I think the great thing about Dean is this. He shows you. You can be young. You can be I'm not going to call Dean old because he's not an old guy, but he's got a couple more years under the belt than I do. And this tournament, all you got to do is you come out here and you throw it good, and you can compete with anybody. I love to see guys, giving these PBA pros a run for their money. I think that's great, and just shows you how great our amateurs are. So I think that's great. Love to see that stuff. Nice to see Bob there with a strike. Switch to the diva.
I don't think Bob's going to reach Kenny there.
No. Kenny was razzing him downstairs. He told Bob that he better hope they have a milk carton or a milk crate to stand on for the team photo or something like that. It was pretty funny. So Bob, obviously the shorter guy on the group.
Kenny's kind of the tallest guy on the group. So
Kenny's very tall. Plus that lawn hair. He's got the lawn rocker hair.
Kenny's been sporting that for quite a while here.
That's a trademark look, I think.
Very true, very true.
We were very trademark. Well, that's a leave. Is he on 35?
35, yep. That was that's a tough 4 count right there.
For the camera can't see it, but this gentleman has just left the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10.
I think he got the 9 out.
Oh yeah,
he got a 4 count out of it. So
yeah, he got the 6 and the 9 out, and somehow got the 7 pin out.
Not to make him feel bad, Bob Chamberlain takes 3 off the right. So, but yeah, that would have been just your standard 2 count with a little extra. Never know what you're going to see here, Matt.
No, that's what keeps it so exciting. Nice shot there from Roy Cook. See if he can turn on the burners in the kitchen and start cooking something up for us. I didn't eat lunch today, did you? I'm a little hungry.
No, not much of a lunch today, so but this is our last squad of the day, so we'll be wrapping things up and get some food and off to league.
Yeah, it's
league night.
It is league night here for all the USBC employees and pro shop staff. It's Wednesday, means it's league night at Rudy's Place, High Sierra. Lots of shenanigans, as always.
Shenanigans indeed.
Kevin starts out with a nice double there. He's throwing it pretty good. You know, these Turbo guys, the first time I went to Turbo Tech, you know, it's a really, really nice practice facility they have there. And you know, I saw a lot of these guys back when I was there in February. A lot of these guys were down there in the building practicing already, getting ready. They hadn't released the pattern yet, but I think they were bowling on last year's pattern. And just trying to get warmed up and get their game plan and just try to get the group together. Never too early.
Yeah, last year's oil pattern certainly was a challenging obstacle for most people in this booth. Matt, of course, won the regular all events and regular doubles along with Charles Vishaw. So we got to see your title defense. Very exciting run at the regular singles lead.
Yeah, it was. It was a blast. I had a great time, and I threw it a lot better than I did in team events. So that was the most important thing. But we'll see what happens. If I can get another watch this year, I'll be extremely happy. Extremely happy. And I'm rooting for John to hold on to his leads. I really want John to win. Just a great, amazing bowler and even a phenomenal guy off the lanes. Always got a smile on his face, and always it's never too big to say hi to you. So,
of course, the numbers John posted here: 789 in singles, 22-28 all events.
And I really think that has a good chance. I mean, as you know, we're getting to the end of May here, and you know, no lead is ever safe until that last ball is thrown, and you get that call from Dwayne. But I really like John's chances, just because the singles and doubles pattern requires so much discipline to break it down right. And I don't know if there's enough guys coming through that can do it. I mean, Sean Swanson, he's still got a bowl. I mean, that guy's always contending. It seems like year in and year out. Amazing player, big Mike Napes group. They're coming through. So, I mean, we still got some players. A lot of players come through. Del Ballard and their groups, their bowl in the last weekend.
Very last weekends, yep. So
we've got a lot of players to come through, but I like John's chances nonetheless. Nice shot there by Bob. That's a good switch for him.
yeah, he actually started off with that. I don't know if it's the same necessary layout, but start off with the deviate diva trying to play pretty direct. And he ended up catching that pocket 7-10 on about the 5th frame of the first game there. He made the ball change, and now he's made his way kind of left here and seems to be liking what he's seeing.
Nice shot there from Ken. Oh, that was a gem. Doesn't Ken kind of remind you of Mark Williams a little bit in the you know, he's taught the deliberate style, you know. Kenny's engaging us a little bit up here in the booth. I like it.
Yeah, I like it times with Kenny. If you want to see a show, you put him out on the gutter.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
Kenny's probably one of the best I've ever seen out on the gutter in my Northwest Indiana days, and when we used to have sweepers out there, PBA sweepers, qualifiers. I remember one time Kenny, 2-gamer on a Cheetah, Kenny led with 540 for 2, and I think he put one in the moat too during the course of that. Just one, he missed a hair right, but yeah, Kenny's as we talked about earlier, since he's come out on the senior tour, he had never won a PBA title till that senior masters, and now he's just tearing up the regional tour as well. So it's certainly been a coming out party since he's joined the senior ranks.
Yeah, he's great time. Very simple game. Like I said, really reminds me of Mark Williams. The way he throws the ball. Just kind of that slower, more deliberate, and turns it up a little more, always playing a little more angle. It's a nice double. Roy Cook cooks up a double.
Cooks up a double.
I wonder if he's a good cook.
You never know. The name does imply it.
You know? I'd almost feel pressured if my last name was Cook to maybe take a couple kitchen classes or cooking classes or something like that, because could wear that apron that says "Kiss the Cook" while you're barbecuing or something like that.
A staple.
Yes.
Of barbecues now and forever.
There we go. Kevin with a nice triple to start with. He's looking pretty sharp out there. I'd like to see that.
So as the eyes and ears of the 900 Global showcase lanes, and as the on-site coach here, how do you think they've broken down the pattern so far? I'm not sure when you first started watching, if that was towards the end of game 1, but what do you think they're doing out here? And if you want to kind of give a prediction of where you think they'll end up.
Well, I think I got here about the 7th, 8th frame. So I didn't really get to see how they played the first 10 minutes or where everybody started. But, this year, Regal's team really proved, I think, that they were too good for their own good, so to speak. I mean, they were so on top of each other that they really made the pattern over under and made them they made them harder instead of easier. When we're dealing with a less challenging sport condition that we're seeing this year at team event, it's very important to make sure guys are in the same zone, but not as important to be right on top of each other, and not as important to all have a lot of surface. The surface thing is I'm going to stick to my guns on that one. 2,000 is really, I think, the most we want to see out there. 2,000, 3,000. I think if it's just not as important for everybody. Oh, Bob got that one in, and a look of surprise on his face there. But, you know, these guys are pretty much, for the most part, doing the right things. Nobody's got excessive surface and is trying to go around the lane, which is definitely a good thing. You know, nobody's, the couple straighter guys, they're playing more up the boards, but everybody's within, like, the same 5-7 board radius, and I think that's pretty good. And that one took off on Dave. Now, Dave, do you know Dave? He's the owner of Turbo Grips. I don't know if it's still called Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. I guess I should know.
You were wearing the jacket right now.
Being on staff.
Yeah, we were talking a little about Dave earlier in the broadcast here. So.
Yeah. Very nice guy. Great guy. Sutar finally gets an X up there and comes back with a wry smile. But I think for the most part, they pretty much got the right strategy. Nobody's really, I think the ultimate killer this year is when you get guys between 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 with surface. 2,000, 1,500. I think that's what hurts you. I think if you can be in there and be with a little smoother ball, you got your straighter guys, going more up the lane. I think that's perfect. So I'll see if Ken can keep it going here. 3 in a row.
Kenny started last game with the front 5 before he ran to a 4-pin. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's giving him the fist too. Look at that.
He's feeling it.
The claw. With that. What's he wearing? I don't know. It's like a bionic man thing there, and he's got the claw going. Like Mad Dog Vachon, give you the claw.
KP's starting to feel it. It's going to be a good night here on the live on Bowl TV.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, I mentioned it earlier on the telecast, maybe an Indiana thing. I don't know if it's local to that, but you ever heard of the Mammy up in Minnesota?
No, I have not.
I tried to goat Kenny into it, we'll see, but oh, the left side hand. Left side. KP is rallying the troops here.
He is. He's trying to get everybody pumped up a little bit. I like it.
But yeah, the Mammy involves throwing it so well, usually towards the end of the day, off your hand. You know it's good. You turn around, you start running off the approach, and then you do fall into a slide on one knee. Your arms, for in Kenny's case, arms crossing about 3 pairs. But Kenny was, probably still is. I know he's getting up in his mid-50s now, so he might be a little tougher to get up after that. But Kenny's put on some memorable performances back home, and always seemed to sneak 1 or 2 in when he was really feeling it. So maybe we'll get lucky tonight. See if
see a Mammy.
See a Mammy.
I would not be opposed to that. I remember there was a show. This is back in 1997. Why is the name escaping me now? Oh, Gary Dickinson is bowling a senior named Avery LeBlanc, the Ragin' Cajun. And Dickinson's throwing a red pulse, going up the boards, gets a messenger 7 and does this, gets down on the knee and kind of gives it the slap off, and then he gets off and just crosses himself with a big hammer fist. And see Dickinson do that, that was pretty comical. It's pretty cool to see. So I like it. I wouldn't mind seeing Sutar getting a little riled up, and
that would be fun.
That'd be all right. Looks like Dave's starting to get in pretty deep with that oath. Or no, that's not an oath. That's a vow. Sorry, Columbia vow. He's starting to migrate. Starting to migrate in pretty quick. So we'll see what happens there. Bob Lurin looking for the front 4. Likes it. Oh, yes.
Gets the 10 out.
Very nice. One of my favorites growing up. Absolutely one of my favorites. Loved watching Bob bowl.
You always knew you were going to get a show.
Yeah.
When Bob would make a telecast, and we're getting one right here, right now.
Surprised Bob's not chewing the gum. No, he's chewing gum. He was chewing gum on that. Oh, wrap 10 for KP. He was chewing gum on that show in Erie. And, you know, if I shot 11:29 and I was chewing gum,
stick with that.
I tell you what, I would be chewing a lot of bubble gum. I know Mark Roth was chewing gum when he won the Open in '84 too, against Guppy True. I think, and I asked Mark on the PBA Extra Frame what kind of gum he is chewing. He told me juicy fruit. So
how about that?
Yeah. So if you want to know, if you were dying to know what type of gum Mark Roth was chewing in 1984 when he won the Open, now you know.
True historian of the sport, Matt McNeil. May have not been born in 1984.
I wasn't even a glimmer in my father's eye in 1980. Well, I was born in '85, so I guess I was. How about Roy Cook? Cooks up a 4-bagger. Grill's getting hot.
He's cooking with fire.
He is. Might be time to throw the meat on there, A. Smith. So Eric Tully, he's got a pretty good game. I bowled the boot hill with him last summer, Woody's tournament. You ever bowled that?
Never bowled it.
Oh,
very familiar with it though.
Yes, very, very difficult. If you want to bowl on something that's just hard, I mean, just plain, old-fashioned, hard. Go bowl one of Woody's tournaments. I think we bowled a sweeper on like a 20-foot flat pattern or something like that. It was just insane. I think Eric's big key is just if he can let the ball roll a little bit. You know, he's got those long arms. He can really accelerate on the ball, but I think he can soften up. He's talking with Bob down here in front of us. Can't see that, of course, on the cameras, but he's talking with Bob a little bit. I think if he can just slow down and soften up the hand, just let the ball read up a little sooner, I think he'll be all right.
Looks like they might be making a ball change as well, looking at different equipment there.
Yeah, Bob's giving him some equipment advice.
Nice shot by Ronald there.
How do you pronounce? Do we dare pronounce his last name?
Napawicki.
Napawicki. All right.
Courtesy of Kenny Parks.
Thank you, KP.
Once again, this Turbo Grips 2 team. A lot of strikes, a lot of spares, not very many opens. I think it was all said and done, even with those 2 in the 10th last game, they only end up with 4 total. So these guys are putting on a clinic here.
That's a nice shot. Oh, yeah. Jeff's really feeling it. That nice 250 last game. Double, spare. Back on the strike train here in the 5th. Setting it up for Bob. Bob from 4. I wouldn't be surprised if Bob put 12 together here. I mean, he is Mr. 300. I think this is the only place he has. Oh boy. Oh, Bobby.
Found some hold.
Oh, Bobby. I think this is probably the only place where he hasn't shot 300.
That might be. Yeah, as far as records show, Bob does not have a 300 here at the Open Championships. So, but yeah, to get a nickname like that, you have to earn it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I think he has 110 or something like that. Maybe more.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick.
Stepping up on 36, Bob Chamberlain Jr. looking for match Bob with the front 5.
Oh, KP, he's feeling it. He's really feeling it. Can you imagine bowling against a guy like that in the urethane days when you're struggling to make the ball wrinkle and this guy's like out hooking you on the back part of the lane by like 10, 15 boards? Oh, man.
It would be intimidating for sure.
Yes. Plus with that rocker hairdo.
And his stature,
yes.
approximately 6'8".
Yes. Like remember another big guy out on tour, Steve Cook.
Steve Cook's actually bowling right now.
What?
28, or he's stepping up on 27.
No way. Oh my God. I might have to like leave momentarily and go say hi to him. Oh my goodness. Same style. It hasn't changed.
Doesn't get the 7-pin to cooperate there, but
oh my gosh.
yeah, Steve Cook in the house as well.
Wow. Talk about like Idol City. I got Bob Learn, Sutar, KP, now Steve Cook. Oh my goodness.
We're not messing around today at the Open Championships.
No, sir. I tell you what, right now I'm happier than Dennis Rodman at a Clinique sale.
Well, we haven't heard that one in a while.
Yeah, it was time to bust it out again. Oh boy, Eric. You know, that's one of the big things. You know, and it's easy for anybody to say sitting up here, and it's so hard to do down there when you're in the moment. I mean, I know, I drove by, I did a couple drive-bys in team event too, but I tell you what, filling frames is just absolutely paramount here. You know, I mean, that Open, that's 12 pins. You know, that's 12 pins you're never going to get back. You know,
Very true.
That could be the difference between an eagle and a watch, or a watch and no watch. Nice shot there.
Ron picks him up right there. Ron's one of the few guys who can reach Kenny's high fives rather easily, so.
Indeed. Looks like they got a little shimmy in there, Mr. Smith. Judging by the last couple shots on 33. Looks like Kevin got that one in a little bit. Sat, Bob got his in a little bit.
Well, they're doing something right out there.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're doing pretty good.
All right, Matt Cannizzaro back in the area.
Matt C had to step out, take care of a little business.
Right now, the only business is on 34. Bob Learn Jr. stepping up for number 6.
I'd love to see it.
With number 6, I'm going to step out. Matt Cannizzaro is going to come back for a second here.
All right, Mr. Smith. We will talk to you soon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Matt Cannizzaro back with you. Just walking around with the folks from Yahoo on the Road. And I'm sure Aaron and Matt were doing a fine job bringing you the action here. Bob Learn looks like making a run here, Mr. 300 with the front 6. But right now, we're going to take a minute and talk to Mike. He's with the group, the Yahoo on the Road folks. 28 cities in 29 days. Mike, tell us about what you guys are doing.
Oh yeah, thanks for having us. It's been a crazy ride so far. We've been all over the whole nation, starting in New York, ending up all the way through Texas, and now we're over in Reno, Nevada. We had concerts with the Lumineers, Kendrick Lamar, even John Legend performed in New York City with a symphony behind them. It's been some really fun stuff.
All right, and what is the goal of the operation? I know when we talked earlier, just trying to get the word out, what Yahoo's all about these days. And
yeah, we're a new company right now with a new leadership. Marissa Mayer, she came in as CEO from Google, and she's kind of redefining the whole brand right now. We have a whole new bunch of applications out for your iPhone, such as the Yahoo Flickr app. We have Yahoo Weather, some really cool stuff going on with Yahoo News. So I advise all of you guys to download that from the Apple Store right now.
So part of what you guys are doing is going city to city, interacting with folks at the grassroots level, showing off some of these new things, showing them how to use them, giving away prizes, different things to entice them. Of course, the concerts certainly don't hurt. You talked about yesterday you guys were in Boise. Tell us about that event.
It was amazing. The whole town showed up for a concert with the Lumineers and Dispatch. We must have had about 2,000 people in this venue. It was crazy. It was great.
Is there any rhyme or reason to how the cities were chosen, or how did a city like Boise and a city like Reno get on the schedule?
We really wanted to go to the cities off the map. Some places that the major concerts don't go to. So not like the LAs or the New Yorks of the world. We want to go to places and bring really fun acts to cities that don't really typically get those acts.
Okay. What do we have in store for Reno? I know you guys are going to give out some prizes here at the NBS and talk to some bowlers.
Oh, yeah, we got some swag to give away, some sunglasses, T-shirts. We have our 2 Yahoo branded buses touring around the city. We're going to some casinos. We're staying around town for a couple hours, and then we're going to hightail it over to San Francisco. We're having the culmination of our tour with the Grammy Award-winning band Fun.
Okay, so you guys kick things off on, was it May 3rd in New York?
Yep.
And it's been a cross-country trip. It's going to end, as you said, in San Francisco with a great big concert. And where can we find this information? I know there's Facebook, Twitter, Flickr. You guys are all over social media. For those who can't be there in person, videos and things on the website, yahoo.com as well.
Super simple. Go to yahoo.com and look for On the Road with Yahoo. You can find videos of all the performances, different segments of comedians, doing some funny shorts with some people on the street, and also check out some fun music by our partner Spotify.
All right, now you guys, this is your first time in the National Bowling Stadium. You've seen it on the movie Kingpin.
It is amazing.
What did you think driving up? You guys parked behind the building, got to come around and walk in for the first time. But describe the feeling a little bit walking in the door.
I was breathless coming up that big escalator, the 3 stories escalator, and coming to this 70 how many lanes? 72?
78 lanes.
78 lanes. It's super impressive. I've seen it in the movies and seeing it firsthand. I want to get out there myself.
All right, well, I saw you in the pro shop area looking at some equipment. Are we going to make a bowler out of you think?
I think it could be in order. I mean, I can't bowl a 300, but I can definitely try.
All right, so you've been on the road again for 29 days now. Any particular highlights along the way besides Boise and, of course, the National Bowling Stadium?
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite concerts is Macklemore. Macklemore gave an amazing performance. He killed it. He brought his whole crew, a trumpet player, we had rappers there. Even our CEO showed up for that performance. It was wild.
So how do you land a gig like this? That sounds like quite the job.
I got lucky. I can't say. I don't know. I'm part of a great team. We put out a great product, and I'm very proud to say I'm a Yahoo.
All right, folks. Well, if you're anywhere between Reno and San Francisco, you're going to see the big purple bus on the road headed that way. Some great concerts and things. Still, check out the action and the recap of the last 29 days on yahoo.com. I guess next thing is you guys are headed to Europe.
That's the plan right now. We're going to start in Germany, and then we're going to head over to London, Paris, Milan, and then even Barcelona. It's going to be wild. I'm going to head out there myself.
Anytime you want to trade gigs, you see what we do. Obviously, the best office in the business here. I'm more than happy to go and sit in on the Europe tour.
Definitely can't fit in your bowling shoes, though.
Nice. Well,
but definitely, for all you folks listening, check out ontheroad.yahoo.com. Some great content up there. You won't be disappointed.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us. We'll have a recap and some highlights on bowl.com as well, so you guys will see the links. I know you want to watch some bowling for sure. Here's Bob Learn Jr., one of the best in the business right now, 5-time PBA champion, working on 6 in a row, looking for 7. He actually owns the record on TV for the highest 2-game set, 3-game set, and 4-game set. He actually bowled an 850 series for 3 games on TV on his way to one of those PBA titles. And right now, as you can see, the strikes have turned red, so all eyes are going to be on him trying to shoot 300 on the big stage. To put that in perspective for you, we'll have roughly 55,000 bowlers come through this year. We're just past the halfway point. We've only had 23 perfect games. So very rare. There's been less than 800 in history, and we've been at this for 110 years.
I'm going to get to tap Bob Learn for some tips.
So these guys are the best in the business. They're timeless, as we call them, classic style. PBA Senior Tour players now. So they've been around a few years, a lot of accomplishments. and you guys could take in a bit of history here at the Open Championships.
You know, we should get Bob some of those Yahoo sunglasses.
Well, these guys certainly are cool. And one of our bowlers, Pete Weber, famous bowler, actually does wear sunglasses when he bowls.
He needs purple sunglasses now.
Certainly does.
We can hook him up with some of those.
So what do you guys have planned for the rest of the day here in Reno besides hanging out with the bowlers?
You know, I'm actually looking to hit some tables. I want to go hit some craps.
Well, certainly other great opportunities here in Reno. The Tri-Properties right across the street, El Dorado, Silver Legacy, Circus. A lot of good chances. Certainly stick around to watch, see if Bob Learn can finish off this perfect game. I know the rest of the crew is around the stadium giving out some goodies and showing off the new products, and we're glad to have you guys here. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks. I like to see history in the making.
And anybody who's in the neighborhood, you want to come out and see the purple bus. I believe there's more than one. Is that right?
We have 3 buses in total.
3 buses currently.
You can't miss them either.
Parked behind the National Bowling Stadium on Lake Street. So check that out. And if you hurry in, you can see Bob Learn working on the front 7 here at the Open Championships. Big start for these guys. 11:03 in game number 1. The number they're chasing, 35-38, the highest number in tournament history. And in order to make the top 10, 34-36. We'll have Aaron Smith and Matt McNeil back in just a minute as we watch Mr. Learn try to get it done here. Mike, we want to thank you for joining us. We'll let you get back to the group, and I'll catch up with you guys in a few minutes as well. We'll get some pictures and get the word out on bowl.com. Thanks a lot.
We appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, a little more shuffling of the headsets, but we have Eric Pearson on right now, USBC Women's Championships Tournament Manager.
Everybody tagged out.
Everybody tagged out.
Everybody tagged out. We got a new tag team champions here at the table. Can't beat the duo of Pearson and Smith.
It's pretty solid. So, Mr. Pearson, here we are.
I haven't seen any bowling. I've been wandering the building. We have a few folks from Las Vegas in with us today and giving them a little tour of how we operate here at the stadium for the Open Championship. So give them a little look-see as they start to prepare for our new venue. That's going to be built for us at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Vegas. So spend most of the day with those gentlemen, showing them around, and tomorrow we're going to spend a little time down at the Women's Championships at the Reno Sparks Convention Center so they can see the routine that the women see as they come through for their tournament experience. So all in all, very good day so far, and Matt asked me to stop by, and sure enough, I stop a string right away.
And you lefties have a knack for that. Bob Learn, front 7 before.
I think it's a lane guy thing.
It's a lane guy thing. All right.
I think so, yeah, because I hadn't seen any balls previous, so all I have to do is show up and watch. And that's why normally I try not to watch. If it's a 10th frame, if you got the front 9 and I haven't seen any of them, you do not want me to walk over and watch you throw the 10th frame. Guaranteed corner pin, 4-pin, possible solid 8 or 9.
If you had the front 8 or 9 here at the USBC Open Championships and you felt you missed because Eric Pearson was in the building, please send all complaints to.
I can handle it. No, I'm just saying that's how it works at the bowl back home. I'll be busy running around doing whatever, and someone will say, oh, so-and-so's got the front 9, and I'll say, well, I haven't seen any of them, so I don't watch. I go behind the pair of lanes, I just turn my head sideways and I listen. If it sounds like 10, then I'll look. You can usually tell by the cheer or moan of the crowd.
Certainly true, certainly true. So even though Bob's run, has come to an end, Bob Chamberlain Jr., one pair to our right with the front 7 as well. So
some very strong bowlers here. Quite a good mixture too.
yeah, some solid scores as well. 1096 for Turbo Grips 3, one pair to our right. 1103 by Turbo Grips 2.
Great shot by Dave Bernhardt there. Looks like he's calmed his game down a little bit. That looked a little more deliberate than I've seen him in the past. He used to really try and wind it up and cover some boards. It looks like he's a little more in check there, toned it down a little bit.
Stepping up on 33. Kenny Parks. So got 250s out there this game after a 231 start.
The ever wondrous KP.
All right, looks like Matt McNeil got the wireless set to work.
After a little fooling around, we got it to work.
Oh, look at KP jumping in.
Oh, that's another bad break. You know, KP should not be gambling this weekend.
No, bad breaks?
Bad breaks. Or maybe he should be gambling because then, I don't know.
Well, just watching, I mean, just happened to watch the march out and I saw a few of their shadow balls. He looked like he was throwing the ball pretty direct.
Yeah.
He had started
closer
over
to
there
first arrow. I mean, I was off probably about 6 lanes off to the side, but to walk over here now and see his ball cross, you know, nearly third arrow there, he has migrated quite a bit to the left.
Well, I talked to Kenny for a few minutes after when Mr. Canzaro stepped in with the folks from Yahoo on the Road and kind of talked about what he was seeing out there. And he had mentioned earlier on that he uses different angles out there, and just the way his game works, that he had already talked to these guys about being a little different and kind of being around the same area but getting there a different way. And now he's trying to talk a few of the other guys. I think it's time to move in a little bit here as well. So we saw Bob
I'd imagine
go.
by this point there's a little bit of transitioning happening. Obviously, it's well into game 2 here. There's a good example, though, something we've seen since day one. The guy's a little deep, doesn't quite get it to the dry the right way, and it doesn't face the pocket at all.
Yeah,
that's a guaranteed flat 10 every time this year, or a light 7.
Yeah, and you know, and one of the big things with Eric is, you know, I think he can be in there, although he's just got to soften up in the hand and the speed and let the ball pick up the mid lane a little better.
Correct. If you're going to move into where there is that higher concentration, or what, you know, if you want to call it puddle or whatever you want to call it, we have definitely noticed that the guys with success either have more hand, or they even ball up, or they stay with the ball they're using and they ease up on their ball speed.
Well, and then you get, you know, just bringing that up, you get into a couple quandaries there, because if you bring too much surface in there, you take away the shim,
yep,
and then you create more over-under. And so I think, you know what I'm saying? I think the biggest trick as you develop, or as things develop, game 2, game 3, if you're moving left, I think the ultimate player needs to move left, shell down, and then soften up the hand and soften up the speed, so that way you don't necessarily damage the lane condition in a fashion that you make it harder on yourself for game 3, but you're still able to score.
Right. Or I think what you're also saying is if you're already in there and you're throwing too much grit, the guys that are to the right of you then go to make their migration, and now you've already damaged what they should have a very easy maneuver or a move to, and now they make their adjustment and it's not what they're expecting because you've already done some damage there. I mean, I think the oil holds up very, very well. I think that's a very fine line, but what you're saying definitely could be true. But yeah, maybe with that weaker shell, you just help blend it out a little more. You don't carve away too much at it. Yeah, we've seen that. You know, maybe we didn't realize we were seeing it earlier in the tournament. Obviously, and this is you know, one of the arguments that the later you come, the more you get to see, the more you get to learn. You hear how other guys play them. You know, those fine little details definitely play out. When you're here early, you're right. You have to make those. You got to figure that out on your own, or what little information you have going into it. But you come a month later, and now you have how many other teams. You know, we heard Jeff Riggles talk about making their lanes too wet-dry. Well, we kind of expected that.
Yeah.
A lot of similarity to the Nicholas Jays team. We saw that very early in the tournament. I mean, those comments were made during their event that it's too dry where they're playing, but the minute they move left, they don't have the right rotation to get the ball to face the pocket right. So they were either through the nose or, you know, flat tens. They shot a good score, but we knew some of the maybe teams with a little bit bigger hand were going to come in and maybe open up the lane a little bit more.
Bob's got some nice hold on 33. There is a big shim in front of the hole on 33, and you can see he's smiling and laughing a little bit.
Don't think he mind that one at all. So.
No, oh no. Bob's an equal opportunity striker.
There you go.
Well, with the nickname Mr. 300.
That's right. And speaking of 300, Bob Chamberlain Jr. here on 35-36, right next door, front 8. He's up right now on the right lane 36, looking for the front 9. See what happens here.
I'm not watching.
Oh, dead flush.
I didn't look. You got it, huh?
Yeah, you might be the black cloud if you watch.
I'm not gonna
Because
watch.
you show up, learn string goes to pot. And
he's got enough of them. I mean,
yeah,
he's not going to lose sleep. I mean, it's 21 pins, but
there's big Steve Cook's down there on 27-28.
how's he doing?
Not very well.
All right.
He still looks like Steve Cook. I mean, like his approach and the style and the tempo and everything still looks the same as he did in the 80s. He's lost some weight though.
Yes, he has.
He's looking good. So is KP.
It's a great shot by Kenny. They'll get him into 240s right there.
Pretty much, if you think back to Steve Cook, though, the style you remember was definitely all urethane.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't it Blue Hammer era?
Black Hammer.
Black and Blue Hammers.
Yeah. I think the Blue Hammer was even too much for Steve. I remember all the years when he won was pre-Blue Hammer, because I remember him using the Black Hammer mainly on just about all the shows I saw him on. I think that was early to mid 80s, and then I think he stopped. And he stopped bowling competitively.
Well, that brings up a good point, though. If you said his style looks the same, you would almost think that people's style would have changed. Once reactive came out, your game's changed, ball speeds changed, releases changed. You would almost expect to see the style look a little bit different, but then what are those fine-tuned little things that are, you know, that bowlers have changed in their style from, you know, urethane era to reactive, as well as getting older, obviously. That's number one.
Well, and, you know,
not going to do as much to the ball.
Yeah, and he's a big guy. You know, I mean, a lot of wear and tear on the joints, especially the knees and the back. So, but he's looking slim and trim out there. He's looking sharp. He's got a couple other left-handers who are playing pretty deep already, so I don't know if they're helping him out or not.
Well, I'd still say if you're going to be farther in on the lane, you better have the right rotation and the right ball speed to get the ball to face, because it's just too easy as you migrate in to get 9.
That's a nice shot there. All or nothing for Roy here.
Yeah, we stepped away. He was cooking with gas, and he's back on it now.
He went from a nice stovetop to a hot plate. It looks like Bob and Eric are having another conference here. Eric's been struggling a little bit, and Bob trying to help him out, find the way. Roy finishes up with a 4-bagger, so that's going to be, that's a 9-strike triple deuce for Roy. 9-strike, 222.
Tully finishes up with matching 195 so far, so.
Definitely not a triplicate you want to have.
Yikes, that looked good. Potentially slowed down a little bit early. Lane 33 there, Kevin shot. Definitely fed it to the right. Looked like it set it up okay, and then
just
ring 10.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you have Matt Cannizzaro back in the area. Looks like Mr. Chamberlain goes up here for the.
Oh, just enough.
Mr. Chamberlain goes up for the 10th frame. We're going to try swing one of the cameras around and see if we can witness history again here on Bowl TV.
Well, I'm going to sneak down just by the steps there and see if I can get a glance at what he's throwing. That it looked dark, so the curiosity is killing me though.
Couple serious conversations going on here. Ball choices, making changes. Fill ball for the 10th frame here.
Yeah, we saw Bob make a big move from game one. Actually playing pretty direct throughout the entire first game. Moved in, made a pretty sizable jump to start game two, and it's been outside that one shot in the 8th frame where he got it away. It's been working. As we said earlier, Kenny was in to start as well, so, or further left, I should say. I wouldn't even call it in, but.
I mean, just walking over here last second here watching Kevin that just got done on the left lane. I mean, not the greatest ball reaction in the 10th frame there, but a solid 224 game. But you kind of look up at the board and go 1 strike in the last 5 shots. You wonder if that look is definitely gone for him and he needs to make a change here. It looked like he threw the same ball in the fill. You know, that's something you see here pretty often. I mean, you look up, it's a solid game, you feel pretty good about it, but is the ball motion just not quite right? And if he had a different ball in his hand later in that game, would he have shot 240 or 250? You know, the tough part is, are you willing to make those changes? You're in the middle of the competition here. You're in brackets. You don't want to let your team down. You don't want to, you know, take a wild guess and make a change. But
it's always tough to give away the pocket.
When you walk over as an innocent bystander and look up at the scoreboard, you got to think, hey, something's not right here. You know, 5 out of the front 6, and he ends up with 220. Great game, but maybe a need for a change. Especially because we know scores are so high this year in the team event. When you break them down right and play them right and get matched up, anything's possible. Obviously, we've seen the all-time record bowled this year. A couple other 3,500s. I think that was expected. I thought there would be 2 or 3.
All right, and we're turning our attention now to lane 35. Matt Cannizzaro and the camera. As Bob Chamberlain Jr. steps up for his first offering with the front 9.
Watch or don't watch? I can't watch.
We'll watch for you.
Right. Look away, Eric.
I'm not watching.
Looks like a cell pearl, guys. Oh, that's high. Oh.
Goes through the nose. Crosses over almost leaving the 6-pin. Nice run by Bob Chamberlain Jr.
Not my fault.
All right, as we get the cameras squared away here, we'll return to turbo grips 1 and 2.
So, and yet you see Bob learn that one shot, looking he had all sorts of hold area, but yet you still see guys definitely going high.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think
it's not like they're piled
overly
up like
walled.
a shot. Whoa.
Yeah. No, I mean, I certainly think it makes a great deal of importance is how you get there too. You know, the smoothness of the roll, your launch angles, your trajectory, your rev rate, speed, all those factors in there. I really feel the guys who have been successful really roll the ball. You know, John Zerbinski, Janowitz, Gaines, Vermilier, all those guys, they really roll the ball. And I think that's kind of the new style that we're seeing taking over right now at this period in time is guys who can, you know, still have a straighter arm swing and navigate the lane, but roll the ball. The softer hands and the higher tracks, I think, are kind of prevailing on this pattern and this lane surface right now.
Well, I could see definitely, like, I think what you're trying to say is, you know, a little bit higher track, maybe a little less axis tilt. You know, the ball's not on its side, so, you know, to me, anytime you roll the ball that way, you definitely control the whole lane. You take away kind of that hockey stick look down the lane, which on these conditions, definitely a little bit more even is what you're looking for, especially on the fresh. Number one, it's almost backwards. On team, you need to do that because they're tight. Then you want the ball to roll even and face the pocket from the outside part of the lane. But then on doubles and singles, you want to do the same thing because there's so much hook in the middle. You don't want to move left too early and throw the ball to the right. So I can definitely see where that type of roll definitely helps. You know, a little bit more of a more spin on the ball, I guess you'd say, lower track, more axis tilt. Yes, you're going to have a much harder time getting the ball to face the pocket on the tighter condition, and it's going to be over/under on the drier, more hooking doubles and singles.
Nice game by Bob Learn there, 279.
279, 1167 for Turbo Grips 2.
How about that ball switch?
Great ball change there. Great big move, and it certainly showed. They jumped up 2270 after 2, so they saw their work cut out for them. But
you know, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
They would be looking at a big score, almost 1260s, give or take, to get to that leading score. But if they can work out some of the kinks you guys have been talking about as far as carries concerned, we could see them running up the leaderboard very quickly here. Anything's
possible. You know, and, you know, I think that goes back, talking about that ball switch, to what you were talking about, Eric, is I think the guys who are going to do very, very well out here are the people who know their equipment inside and out and are able to make that change instead of just trying to finagle a little bit here or there with the hand position or with the release or whatever and just try to stay in the same zone and carry. I think the guys who can make that definitive change and, you know, I'm going to move 2, I'm going to move 3, I'm going to do this with my eyes, and I'm going to this new ball. Those are the guys, and Bob Learn's a prime example. He could have probably stayed somewhere in the same zone where he was the first game, makes a big step left, big ball change, and, you know, obviously it paid dividends.
Yeah, it almost seems to me, I mean, I'm not here every day watching like you guys, but just what I saw early in the tournament, just bowling with my group of friends, it just seemed like simple, just moving your feet with the same ball was not always the right thing. It was almost a multiple adjustment that you might have had to move a little bit and slow down, or move 2 and 1 and look a little closer to the foul line to get the ball to start up, or, you know, definitely make the move and change balls. You know, and I really felt like with the oil holding up better, it'd be more of a natural progression, that the moves would make more sense. And I think you know when you have to move, but finding that right combination is the key. And if you don't find that right combination, you still bowl a good score. You shoot 210, whatever, 220 even. But the right set of adjustments might still get you 240, 250 or more. And I think that's why we see such higher scores, especially here in the team event. The guys that make those follow those transitions the right way, they maximize their score, and that's why you're seeing some 3,500s and good 3,400s. And the guys that don't still bowl a real solid 32 or 3,300. because it's just you get to the pocket, and but the key
And you're not splitting.
The key this year is getting to the pocket and throwing 5-baggers, not doubles.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Eric Smith, Eric Pearson, and Matt McNeil coming to you live from the 2013 United States Bowling Congress Open Championships here at the famed National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. We're watching Turbo Grips 1 and 2 out of Chesterfield, Michigan. We've seen some big scores so far. Once again, 1268, the number they are looking to reach. That would tie the 3538 by Lodge Lanes 2. Certainly a tall order to accomplish, but we've seen stranger things, and as one of the things Matt talked about earlier, no lead is safe this year by any means. Seen a lot of high scores and near record scores and record scores, so let's tune in and see where they lead us.
I think the big key is going to be they got to get Eric lined up, and he just hasn't been comfortable all day long, Eric Tully, and he's just been struggling. I don't know if he's just not comfortable or a little nervous or not throwing it great or a combination of everything, but I think it's going to really take, and looking down, you know, Bernhardt's talking to him, Bob Learn's talking to him. You know, they realize that to get a good team score out of this, they're going to have to get him lined up, squared away, and get him to calm down and throw a couple good shots for him. So we'll see if, you know, he started with an open here, so really need him to get on board, and hopefully things turn around for him. But I think he's your key. You know, he's the guy who's the most lost, so we need him to make some good shots. Hopefully he can find a good ball reaction, get comfortable, and make some good shots out there. Oh.
Wow.
Mm.
Didn't look too bad 3/4
No,
way
it
down the lane.
really didn't. It looked pretty smooth off his hand. I don't think he jumped on it. And that, you know, and that they are all kind of in that same part of the lane, in the middle part of the lane, and I think it might be starting to get a little dicey in that middle part of the lane there, Eric.
Well, that ball does look a little bit shinier now that I see it on the ball return than a bunch of the other pieces there.
Mm-hmm. And,
so maybe that's, I don't know, was that a ball change? I mean, that ball really knifed a lot more than I expected it to.
No, that was an oath. That was the same ball that he's been throwing first 2 games, so.
Saying one of the notes from earlier today, we really haven't seen a ton of surface out there from these guys. Bob started off with that Diva. Kenny was using a Storm High Road, which has a shinier surface. So how do you guys think that might play into effect Game 3 here?
Well, I'm just wondering if you're in that part of the lane that's chopped up a little bit right now, either the ball might go a little bit early, or if you do have to cover some boards, it gets around the corner and it's weak. It's going to bleed off, and so I'm just wondering if the right move is going to something a little bit shinier, but just keeping your ball speed down, or get into the heavier concentration of oil with something stronger and just pipe it. You know.
Bob's feeling it here. He's looking pretty sharp. I just got down here in the booth, so I got to get right behind him on that shot. Looked like he was laying it down about 15, 16, getting it to about 9, 10 at the indicators. And that one is rolling like a gravy train with biscuit wheels, my friends.
That was about 16, and definitely did not leak to the right. Maybe a little bit more ball speed, a little more, open it up a little bit.
That's one of the things Kenny talked about after game number 1 there. He split in the 9th and 10th frames. He said he threw it where he wanted to. He just got a little slow, so he talked about being a little bit more aggressive amping up the ball speed a little bit for his game. And
yeah, that ball. I mean, that ball definitely didn't look firm from Kenny. I mean, I've never really seen Kenny throw the ball hard.
certainly a finesse player.
So, I mean,
kind of a Mark Williams.
There's enough shine on that ball to maybe jump in a couple more, and then I think if he misses right, it's shiny enough where it's gonna bounce back and still hit hard.
Eric, what do you think? Do you think Kenny kind of reminds me of Mark Williams? Huh?
In what?
Well, in the style.
In style?
Yeah. I didn't want to sound like a nut. I was talking about it earlier, but
Kenny's Kenny.
no.
I can't compare Kenny to anybody.
Okay.
Yeah. Shorter backswing. Big guy, you'd expect a bigger backswing and a real aggressive style, but he's a big, tall guy, and he's very simple, classic game. Yeah, I don't know who to compare him to.
Mark Williams. That's who.
He's been pushing that all day. So.
Hey, are we going to the Black Bear Diner after this?
I cannot.
Why not? You owe me cobbler and coffee anyways.
I have dinner plans, and we have league tonight.
Well, yeah,
don't forget there's league later.
I know, but we could go before league.
Shoot, 250 every game.
I was going to say, I just went down and talked to Kenny really quick. He said he made a 2-1 on that last shot, so he says he's got time to make a little even bigger jump.
Guys, I just had a gold angle sighting on lane 35. There's a left-hander here, Derek Thompson. Who
I thought I saw one in the scale room.
Yes.
And then I thought, no, that's a real dull IQ pearl.
No, your eyes were not fooled.
But it really looked like a gold angle, and somebody said there's no way there's a gold angle, and there it is. So.
Yep. I believe that ball is older than the gentleman throwing it.
These old eyes aren't so bad after all.
Bob Learns stepping up here in just a minute on 33. After a 210 start, Bob struck 11 out of 12 shots, 279. Just a 2-pin that got away from him in the 8th frame.
279's just got to be a walk in a park. When you've had, 100 and some 300s, you shoot 279. I had 279.
Oh, hum.
Yeah, no big deal. What'd you shoot that game, Bob? Yeah, I had 279. Field's struggling to average 190. Yeah, I had 279.
Yeah, it got to the right a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it did.
He looked a bit surprised on that. Looked like a wow came out of his mouth right after he turned around and looked at his teammates.
Well, obviously earlier he had the ball where he thought he tugged it, it kind of fell back and held. So,
maybe he actually threw that one good and he didn't miss it left, so he got a mixed reaction there. He thought it was going to be high flush and it wasn't.
Definitely a little bit wider in the front, so it got to the right a little bit quicker, and obviously hit the higher traffic area on the lane and went left to see what happens with Kenny Parks here.
Another 4-pin.
Yeah, I don't know. If he moves any farther left from there, is the ball going to hit? It's pretty shiny. I think if he gets in the juicier part of the lane, the ball may not see enough of the lane to face the pocket right. He might have to move left with a stronger ball, possibly. I mean, first he needs to get to a part of the lane where at least the ball hits the pocket light. He's been high.
Kenny's got a little bit of everything in his bag.
Possibly just tighten up his line a little bit. Don't feed it to the right as far. Will it hold back? And some of the other balls that have been pulled have gone high in the last couple frames.
We see Kenny and Bob
having a little
talking
chat
here right now. And said Kenny had a plethora of equipment, different brands, different layouts. So we'll see if that's in the works or just getting further left.
Yeah, he's just not getting it. He's just not feeding the ball to the right at all.
No. Definitely trying to play too straight through the
Too
front.
tight.
Yeah.
Almost tentative. Like, you know,
It looks like he's really having a hard time just, getting it off his hand clean, getting it projected to the right.
feed it to the right. Yep.
Yeah.
This will more than likely be 2 opens here in the early going of Game 3. Tried to prove me wrong there. His pins jumped a little bit, but
It's hard to kick him out on these style pin setters. Pin setters. These Brunswick GSXs. It's because they have a hanging rubber mat that flaps back and forth that really keeps the pins down from bouncing out of the pits. Unlike the A2s and the Jetbacks and the A's or the 8270s.
Yeah,
So
no real cushion.
no, there's not a pit cushion.
I mean, there is, but it's behind the curtain.
Yeah, exactly. It's behind the flappy curtain, so very hard for pins to bounce out here.
that's one thing we haven't seen a lot of in our live streams. People sending pins across the deck on even just shooting at 10 pins. Haven't seen too many of them pop out. So,
And that's just all pit construction here, and it's very difficult.
Well, definitely not off to a big start here after a nice finish there for 1160.
No, right now, I mean, 1050 looks pretty good after this kind of start. That was a nice shot there. It looks like he balled down to a bow. He went from the oath to the bow, so that's a good switch.
And honestly, it looks like they're all trying to play in the same spot. Right? I mean, almost every ball is between 14 and 16.
Yep.
Would you say?
Yeah, I'd agree.
And maybe you're at a point in time now where you've blended the lane out. Each person should just jump to where they need to jump to. You've only got 7 frames left here.
Well, guys, I'm here with the owner of Turbo Grips, Dave Bernhardt. Dave, what are you thinking? What's going on out there so far?
Well, there was one transition. They caught up with it. Now it's gone through another transition, and we're trying to figure out what to do right now. So, don't know quite what to do. We're talking about it.
All right, guys. Looks like they kind of trying to find the lanes.
all right, thanks for that insight from on the lanes there. I believe we're going to have another guest stop in for a little bit here, so we'll get Brent Bowers a headset and hear from the former Wichita Collegiate standout. So it looks like Eric Pearson's going to step out for a few seconds while Brent All right, thank you, Eric Pearson, USBC Women's Championships Tournament Manager. Now stepping in, we have former collegiate bowling standout from Wichita State, Brent Bowers, joining us. How are you doing today, Brent?
Wonderful, wonderful. How's everybody else doing?
Very good, very good.
Good, Brent. Good to see you again. I haven't seen you in so long.
Seems like forever, man.
I know, right?
And we'll hardly ever see each other again after today.
I know.
Like we'll
Can't
never
believe
get
it.
any time together.
Oh, that's a shame.
All right, we're in the middle of game number 3 here. Stepping up in the 4th frame, Kenny Parks up on the left, Roy Cook on the right. They've been struggling with a little bit of transition here, trying to find the right moves to get themselves back into contention here for a top 10 spot. Once again, they need 1268 to get to the leading number right now, so
it's quite a bit.
Looks like KP moved a little deeper and just sent it a little further right. Gets a little slasher there.
it's the love tap on the 7.
Little tappy.
Showing the mid off to everybody.
Yeah, he's got the claw going. I like that.
I heard in the pro shop I watched his first game and I was very impressed. I've never had the chance to watch Kenny bowl much, and went in to kind of chat with some of the guys in the shop about it. And they said he's got a 6-inch span. That's how big his paw is. You can do some serious manipulation to the rock when your hand covers nearly a quarter of it.
That guy could palm my head.
Yeah, Kenny, 6'8" in stature, so not only one of the tallest out here at the Open Championships, out in, maybe in the whole country as far as bowlers are concerned.
Steve's got him beat, I think.
Steve is close.
Yeah, I think Steve might have Kenny beat.
We'll have to have him go back to back here after we finish up.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't mind that. I have a hard time though going up to Big Steve Cook and asking him to line up with Kenny. I don't know if he's either going to say yes and smile or choke slam me.
Well, there's only one way to find out. So
get the cameras ready in case he decides to choke slam me.
Option 2 comes up. Now, Brent, you've been very active in the Wichita bowling community and was part of the group that kind of helped them get the women's championships back again in the years coming up here. 2019, and the 100th anniversary of the women's championships will be back in Wichita. So any insight on that and just how you guys were able to work that out?
Well, I'll tell you, we are so incredibly honored and excited to host that event. You know, we had that event back in, I want to say it was 04 or 05. That was still a little before I got involved. But from everyone I've spoken to, from locals to people who came from far and beyond to bowl that tournament, it was an absolute success. And we didn't even know what we were doing then. So we're really excited to think that a lot of the people that were around in 04 or 05, whenever that event was in town, a lot of those folks are still around. And they've, I'm sure they would tell you, I know I've spoken with the proprietors out at Thunderbird about it. They admit that they made some mistakes in say the merchandise they ordered for the women and some different things like that in their operations, and they're confident they're gonna do even better. So we're really excited, and if I do anything throughout the course of my career on the administrative side of bowling, I would really hope that we can get more events like that to Wichita. I think Wichita is such a special bowling community. I grew up just an hour outside and was always very special to be around. Just a cool place to be if you're a bowler. Really cool place.
And obviously Wichita has held a lot of big-time events over the years. Over at North Rock, this seems to be the central hub over there.
Yeah.
So, and you could talk about just the fact that the Women's Championships in 2010 converted to the convention center settings that we have gotten used to seeing here at the Open Championships, and the women's the past few years. Of course, they're just down the street right now at the Reno Sparks Convention Center, but we're kind of going old school for the trip back to Wichita, going back to the conventional bowling centers. So if you could tell us a little bit about that. And,
I think it's cool. I think it's cool to have some, to have different options like that, and to change it up, and not that I personally from the open tournament standpoint, this is my favorite tournament of the year. I love coming to these big convention centers, but you know, you just have to examine if it makes sense. If it makes sense for the bowlers, if it makes sense for USBC, and not having to build a $1 million facility is a great thing. So you know, and I truly believe we'll be able to offer just as good a product in those two facilities, being North Rock and Thunderbird, as you can at the convention. It's a little different, but it's, you know, and everybody has a different different want. You know, some people love the convention, but I can assure you there's a lot of people out there that I think like to go to these bowling centers. Both those bowling centers have a lot of history. You know, Thunderbird's been around since the 60s, North Rock being built in the late 80s. North Rock's hosted multiple PBA events, collegiate national tournaments, and you know, I haven't heard from a person that attended that event when it was in Wichita the first time. I haven't heard from anybody that said they didn't enjoy themselves. They didn't like it. It's centrally located. It's easy to get to. It's not radically expensive. And you know, we're going to work really hard to push it in the Midwest. You know, that's one of the things that we talked a lot about is really trying to reach out to the states that border us and get out there and have entries available at their state tournaments and make sure they're making announcements and make sure the bowling centers are making announcements and things like that. So kind of a grassroots movement there on our part, but we just really want to work hard to ensure its success and you know, a lot of pressure following Vegas. You know, Vegas, I'm confident it's going to be a big event, and it's a lot of pressure being the 100th event. It's just going to be a great thing, and we're going to work so hard, like I said, to ensure its success and make it fun for everybody who attends.
We appreciate the effort and time committed to that. Obviously, a big undertaking, and one of the things in talking with the ladies over the years is they do seem to like the idea of the being in the traditional bowling center, so I'm sure that'll be along with being in a little bit different area out in the Midwest, and that'll draw a big crowd, and we're looking forward to that certainly, and as are you guys. Obviously a few years away still, but it's good to hear the excitement already.
And guys, of course, North Rock Lanes, a little bowling history for you. 1993, Mike Albee shot 300 against David Ozio's 279, which at that time was the highest scoring match in the history of the PBA on ABC television. Mike Albee, of course, using a Brunswick Rhino Pro RE, kind of hooking the lane, kind of playing the slow hook, and then David Ozio throwing, I believe it was either a Blue Piranha or a Power Torque.
It was a Power Torque.
That
show was actually on ESPN Classic 2 nights ago. So
yeah.
Yes, very familiar with that.
Yeah.
Albee supporting the Pizza Hut on the shirt.
Yep, he had the red Pizza Hut shirt, yes.
But yeah, that was right there, North Rock, 93 Wichita Open. So
right on, I believe it was lanes 39 and 40.
That could be my. I have a personal attachment to that show, and and of course I'm biased, but obviously one of my favorite PBA shows, and even for a lot of reasons. But one of the special reasons for me is my brother and dad are sitting in the background of the show there, rooting it on. And that's a very. I still have the article that was written by the Wichita Eagle. It was posted on my on the wall in my room for many years. That talked about Albee beating Ozio in that fashion. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights I remember growing up, watching it on. Actually, I think it was covered by. Yeah, it was covered by ABC, but it was kind of during the summertime or something. So Albee only got 10,000 instead of the 100,000, which was being offered at the time. But I'm sure he got some incentives from Brunswick and Pizza Hut and Lynn's Shoe Company back then, though.
Very, very cool that you mentioned Pizza Hut, being that most people aren't fully aware Pizza Hut actually got its start in Wichita, Kansas.
Yes, it did.
And so that's pretty neat that he did that and promos Pizza Hut in that show, and in the town that Pizza Hut began, actually on the campus of of Wichita State University. So very, very, very cool.
I'm looking forward to going to that original Pizza Hut when I move down there. So
Truly is a hut. It truly is a hut.
Is the pizza just as good though?
You know, they don't serve pizza out of it anymore, and I wish they would.
Really?
I think that would be a great stop. I'm sure that anybody that came to Wichita would be a great tourist attraction and whatnot. And because they don't serve pizza out of it, it probably doesn't get as much tourism as it would if it was still in operation. But it's neat. It actually doesn't sit very, very far from our student union where our teams practice and whatnot. So very cool, very cool.
All right, we'll turn our attention back to lanes 33 and 4 here at the National Bowling Stadium. Turbo Grips 1 and 2. About halfway through game number 3.
Remind me what the number was you said they needed.
1268 to tie Lodge Lanes 2. So they got a few opens up there. Not sure they got enough steam to get there, but still looking to set themselves up for not only a nice team check, but put themselves in the position to make a run at Team All Events.
And that, that Team All Events really hasn't even been challenged in probably a good month.
It's been those standings, that top 10 for Team All Events has been pretty set in stone for these past few weeks. So
yeah.
We've had a lot of big team scores, but one of the things we've talked about a lot here on the live stream is just the figuring out how to play this doubles and singles pattern and being able to work together and turn into something to light up.
It's got to be so difficult. It's got to be so difficult, and I haven't bowled yet. We bowl in a couple days, but it's got to be so difficult if you do have a good set on this team pattern, not to let a little bit of that get ingrained in you and kind of get trapped that way. It's got to be really hard to completely detach yourself and truly almost play them like two totally separate events, two totally different ideas, and to get everybody on the team on that same page. Even if you have one or two of them that understand it and can detach the two patterns, getting everybody on that page just has to be difficult.
Yeah, I think you bring up definitely a good point, Brent. It really is the next when you come back that second day. It really is starting from scratch. Different, I believe the philosophies on what you should start with, how you should play the lanes, those things kind of stay in harmony with each other. But generally where you're starting and how quick your transitions are going to come, and then how you're going to make those transitions, that's completely different than team event. That's why we've seen so many guys 750, 760, 770, 780, 790 in team, and then they struggle immensely in singles and doubles. So,
and of course, if you want to take the opportunity to get a look at the double singles pattern, it's featured at the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships, just to our right here, not too far away. We've got 10 lanes away from the Open Championship lanes here, if you will. That offers the doubles and singles pattern. A bunch of shifts, 2 of them on the fresh. So you always have the opportunity to check that out, get a first-hand look at the pattern on the same oil, same lane surface. So be sure to check that out. And if you want to get an idea of what this team pattern is going to offer you, go down to the Global 900 Showcase lanes, get a practice session with your teammates for $100, or if you want Mr. McNeil's insight, another $100 on top of that, and he'll give you all you need to know about this year's 41-foot pattern for team event and everything else you'll need to succeed out here at the Open Championships. So plenty of opportunities to get comfortable here at the National Bowling Stadium this year.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you ever want to keep up on the live scoring or anything, just pull up your X-Frame bowling app. And also, when you come out here to bowl, make sure to get in that X-Frame bowling. I mean, it's a lot of strikes, but hey, I might be on suicide watch if I didn't get in that and got all the strikes for $50K. So.
I believe you said you already framed your $5 check. Or?
I did, signed by Mr. Scott Stone himself. So I will. I'll be eagerly waiting that in the mail, and then I'll frame it. So let's see, KP here. He's looking for 4 in a row. Let's see what he does. Ooh. Half bucket.
I have to say, as someone who hasn't had the chance to watch him much, and like I said, I was very impressed first 2 games, how easy he made them look, playing them honestly in ways that I wouldn't have thought about myself. But there's absolutely no way that you would look at a guy of his stature and piece together that his game's going to look like that. There's just no way you're going to guess that based on his height and size that he would throw the ball the way he does. But boy, he does it very well. And I'm a true believer that this game is all about shot repetition. And I'm not so concerned how folks get to the foul line or how they get the ball to the target, as long as they can do it in a fashion that they can repeat. And he does that.
Kenny's certainly a finesse player, and he's been proving that out on the PBA50 Tour these past few years. After claiming his first and only title at the 2008 Senior Masters, he's been tearing up the regionals. Pretty much forced to be reckoned with week in and week out.
Along with Mr. 300 there, Bob Learn, who's he's been winning them like they're going out of style. I'll tell you that much.
Certainly the case. It's been a PBA50 Tour. A lot of exciting guys from yesteryear reaching that 50 mark, and yeah, the level of competition out there is something else as well. So
isn't that amazing? That just amazes me to see all these talented players that have shifted over to the 50-year mark now. And even still, I think with the next 5 years, how many people that I've thought about, the Rick Steele Smiths and whatnot, that are, I mean, these guys are still playing at a very, very high level. And you know, while on the topic of Mr. Learn, you know, what a special guy too. I mean, you know, I have such a strong attachment to people that have the ability to be so successful, but yet such a good person. You know, such great character. And Bob had a very great influence on me during the couple years I spent on Junior Team USA, when he was actually down in Arlington helping the coaching staff and whatnot. And you know, it's funny brief story. I probably wouldn't have gotten into coaching at the level that I am now had it not been for Bob, simply because at the time they had a grant system when I was on Junior Team USA, where if you had the desire to become a certified coach, bronze or silver, or even at the level 1 level, they would work out. They had a grant program where they would essentially assist you in paying for the class. Well, that's great. However, the bronze class that year was down in was out in Las Vegas, and being a kid who pushed himself through college without much assistance, I can still remember it at Team USA camp out in Colorado Springs. Bob volunteered his hotel room and told me he had absolutely no problem if I could get myself out there. He had no problem with me staying. We stayed at the Luxor that week, and there's no doubt I wouldn't have gotten my coaching certification. I wouldn't have gone on to get my silver coaching certification after that if he wouldn't have stepped up and just been the generous guy that he is. And I'm forever thankful to that guy. So very, very cool individual.
Yeah, definitely one of the nicest guys. I'm sure everybody, you know, could tell a Bob story. I got a couple myself, but you know, that's maybe for another time, another place. We got to focus on this good bowling in front of us. But I mean, just like you said, Brent, I mean, truly just an awesome guy, very nice, very humble. But then, you know, he's still Bob Learn, and he goes and steps on your throat and drives your face into the concrete and then takes your money. So.
Bob stepping up on 34 here, looking for 5 strikes in a row.
Oh boy, trip there. Oh, still a great result.
We had someone in the chat room ask what Bob is using. That's a DV8 Diva. He started off with one. I don't know if he switched to another one perhaps. But
I haven't seen him throw a ball other than that Diva since he signed on with DV8.
Yeah, he's been throwing that everywhere. Every Facebook post I see, I won this tournament again with the Diva. I think he just has control copy and then he just hits control paste on his status. Won another PBA50 Tour event through the Brunswick or through the DB8 Diva. I think he just hits control paste, and there you have it.
Nice shot by Kenny, back on track. Coming in a little light last frame.
Has anybody done the math? Can they still mathematically make it?
We could look that up. Definitely after 9, I can give you a rundown.
I got to think, for chasing 1260, which I think is the number you quoted.
Yep.
It's an awful lot of dashes out there to get there. But there's also, where there aren't dashes, there are mostly X's. So.
Very true, very true. Ronald still has 260s out there, Bob 280s, so. Ostring had a few early opens. Tully's looking to get on track.
Yeah, it looks like Tully can max out for 183. I don't know if they can get there or not. They can still get a good team casher, though. Those team spots pay very, very handsomely on down the line, so get every pin you can.
Well, and put themselves in line for what I consider to be the most prestigious eagle of them all.
Team Olivins.
Chase that Team Olivins eagle.
Guys, I don't know if I'm going to ask about that lineup thing. Steve's kind of struggling down there. He might not be in the greatest mood.
Hey Matt, I'm just looking over here at the live stream, and I noticed a comment come up that looks like Brunswick did end up giving Mike the $100,000 from the 300
really?
he shot from the 300 that he shot down in North Rock there in Wichita. The source being Mark London.
Yeah, Mark London. Yep.
Said that he shared that with the guys at the next tournament in Grand Rapids the week after. So that's cool. That's nice of Brunswick.
That was very nice of Brunswick.
Thanks to Mark for checking in. Always a pleasure, and as well as everyone else tuning in to watch PBA 50 stars Kenny Parks and Bob Learn Jr.
Of course, Mark was very famous on the Baton Rouge webcast for doing his great Mike Durbin groan or / moan impersonation at the double pinochle and whatnot. So Mark's a former Minnesotan, so always good to hear from him.
All right, here comes Bob stepping up in the 8th frame. Brent, from my map, it looked like they still had 1,200 out there, but not enough to get to that 1268 number. So.
Well, I still wouldn't mind seeing him chase it.
It would be fun.
Bob really liked that shot.
Bob was at 489 after 2, so he was looking big picture there as well. That'll drop him down a little bit.
And guys, over here on 29 and 30, Jeff Null, front 7. He's got the red strikes. So as I always say, when you're in the red, you're getting ahead.
Copyright, trademark, patent pending.
I might have to do that.
You've got a few sayings you've dropped this year that are quite unique. So,
Matt, do you know these folks over on 2930? I believe they're a Nebraska group. I can place some of the faces. Unfortunately, not very good with names.
I do know Jasmine Lagerman. I bowled a few of the Minnesota Junior Bowlers Tour events with her. Very, very good bowler as far as females are concerned. Extremely good bowler. Really throws it good. And she's been scoring pretty good. She had 240 last game, and now she's got triple spare and a 5-bagger working. So
still got 260 out there. Sure Fit Pro Shop out of is that Plattsmouth? I believe it says up there in Nebraska. 1036, 1116. So not only here on the live stream we got a lot of strikes, but pairs to our left, pairs to our right. Very good squad out there today.
Jeff went through the face in 310, so.
Matt just had to do it.
Well, I did. I got the black cloud going today.
We're passing it around. Pearson had it earlier today, so.
Yeah.
Still a nice run. It's always fun to see the strikes turn red.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you've never been here before, and then some folks actually thought they got in trouble. So, earlier, our second live stream actually featuring Curtis Odom, one of his teammates, Jason Narlock, bowling in his first event, ended up shooting 299. But all of a sudden he saw the red strikes go up there. He thought he might have been in trouble for something. He wasn't sure, so we let Jason know everything was okay, just to keep on striking, and he made a valiant run.
Unlike the Peterson Classic, once you've got that 7-bagger, nothing to be concerned about. nothing to be too worried about.
I don't even think they do that at the Peterson much anymore. I was bowling with Adam Barta when he had last game he needed, I think 190 or 200 to take the lead from Tim Barrett, and they didn't do anything. The pair didn't break down. There was no lead pins. Nobody came out with a crowbar and hit him in the knee. Nothing. And so as that was being my first Peterson, I was kind of disappointed that I didn't see any of the Peterson shenanigans.
Yeah, don't let that stop you from creating a story, though. The stories are always fun. I'll tell you very, very briefly, my favorite story, and I've bowled the Peterson a few times, and we're actually organizing a 56-passenger bus out of Wichita, Kansas this year to get up there. So anybody interested, this is probably as good a time as any. Anybody interested in taking a bus trip from Wichita to Chicago, August 23rd to the 25th for the Peterson, contact me and we'll get that sorted out. But the very first year that I bowled, the gentleman that recruited me to the tournament gave me a great story that he had a friend that bowled the front six, and then Lane mysteriously breaks down for a moment. He gets the 7th one. Lane mysteriously breaks down for the 15 minutes. And then he gets the 8th one, and the lane's shut down for good. Sorry, sir, we're going to have to move you. This isn't going to work.
Oh, they moved him over to the bar pairs,
they moved
right?
him to the bar, yeah. This was down at 35th and Archer.
Oh, no.
Which I would give anything to step foot in that place again. But, so they moved him to the bar, and the way the story is told, and I can only tell it the way it was told to me, but they turned the lights on. It looked as though there hadn't been a drop of oil applied to these lanes in many months. The gentleman placed the ball in the lane, and dust flew up from the wood. He continues to go gutter, gutter, 3 off the left, gutter for a beautiful 243, which I don't think even qualified him for the high game jackpot on that pair.
Oh, no.
So...
Yeah, I heard you were pretty much doomed if you got moved to the bar pairs. Because I don't think they had oiled those probably since color television came around.
All right, we are now in the 9th frame. Time has flown today, gentlemen.
It really has.
I'll be honest, watching the first couple games, I really thought they were playing pretty good. I thought that they were going to break down in their favor, and I have to assume as sharp as these guys are and as good as they played them the first and second game, the lanes have just transitioned into a rough spot.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly seen some struggles along the way. Like you mentioned earlier, a lot of opens for this group. I think they only had 4 in the first game, maybe only 2 or 3 in game 2, and they got about 7 or 8 up there right now. So they haven't given away very many makeable spares. I think maybe 1 or 2 flags. It's all been run into big splits and just having to get what you can out of it. I'm looking around. I can't believe I'm saying it, but where's Kenny Parks at?
Yeah, where is Kenny?
Nice stepped away to use the bathroom or something, but Kenny's possibly the most recognizable person in here.
Well, it's hard to miss him.
All right, Dave Suter stepping up on 34.
I believe he's a USBC Masters champion.
Masters and Senior Masters.
And Senior Masters. He's got the double dip going.
How many hold that crown?
Dave Suter and Dave Suter alone.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
That's special.
That's pretty impressive.
Dave's also a USBC Hall of Famer, and a very accomplished PBA career as well. So,
if I'm not mistaken, Dave is also a Kansas native. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that I've got a lot of pictures. I'm somewhat of a historian of Wichita bowling, and there's a lot of pictures from years past of Dave floating around and doing exhibitions and things like that.
certainly the case.
Currently out of Florida. I'm almost positive, and I should probably check my facts next time before I'm sure I'm going to catch a few comments here on the live stream telling me how wrong I may be, but I'm almost positive that I thought they resided right outside of Kansas City for a while, him and his wife.
All right.
Please, anybody that might know that on the live stream, please correct me if I'm wrong. But
once again, thank you everybody for tuning in today. It's been a fun time here as Kenny Parks has returned.
KP back in the house.
I was going to say, Matt, maybe we'll get lucky here. Kenny will label these first two and feel a little saucy and get to see that mammy after all.
I would like to see that mammy. I have been looking over the counter here, guys, and there are a few beverages being consumed during the event here, so inhibitions might get thrown into the wind. You just never know.
All right, here's KP's first offering. 10th frame, game 3.
I like that, calling it an offering. I like it. Oh, he's running them out. Oh.
Kenny Parks, yes, sir.
Oh, that's a big yes, sir.
Kenny, 231, 246 in his first two. So it's 245 out there. And the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
KP, the big double. Good count here will get Kenny into the 720s.
That's a fine set. That's a very fine set here in team event.
Outside that one mishap in the 10th frame of game 1, it's been, couldn't ask for much better bowling.
Oh, that's a gem.
245, Kenny Parks.
Well done. Well done. I'm going to try to get a word here with Kenny, guys.
All right.
Kenny,
Matt,
great bowling.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, so can you just tell us just a little bit about what happened in between that Game 2, Game 3 transition?
What happened was I started to make like a 2-1, and I'm lead off. So when I made the 2-1s, I hooked a little bit sooner, and I still went high. So it was more like a 5-3 or 5-2. So once we got in, the full plank, and then we had a really good look to the pocket, but we just had one of our guys is just so straight on this that he just doesn't have much room. And so that he hasn't bowled as well as we were hoping, but that's just because of his angle. He's so straight. But the guys that are going around the lane a little bit now, there's a really good shot in there. Really, really nice shot.
Well, Kenny, it looks like the team did pretty good. Game plan held up pretty good. Awesome bowling, and we look forward to seeing some good sets out of you tomorrow.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, Matt, while you got Kenny there, have him give a shout out to all the folks back home watching.
Nice bowling. Thanks.
Kenny, Aaron Smith asked you to give a shout out to all the folks back home.
Hey, everybody back in Hammond and Calumet area. Wish you were out here. It's a lot of fun. We're having fun ourselves. Just wanted to say hi. See everybody in July. That's when I'll be back home. Been bowling the whole time, so it's been really hectic. 3 months out on the road. That's quite a while. So missing home. See everybody when I get back.
There you have it, guys.
All right, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Kenny. .152 for Eric Tully. Had a rough day out there, but always good to end on a strong note. Throw a nice strike there to finish up his day.
Yeah, I think Kenny was right. Eric's angles to the front were just too straight, and he needed to get it away a little bit and maybe float it a little bit, soften up in the hand and the speed. But hopefully he comes back tomorrow and can put away that team event blues.
Goes a little bit high there, leaves the 4-pin. Dave Bernhardt Sr. finishes up for Turbo Grips 1, up on 34.
I have to say this guy's pretty sharp himself. I noticed he was a past champion. Really pretty good game there.
Yeah, I remember when I walked into TurboTech, I watched he was practicing, and it was on some hard shot. I don't know what pattern it was. But I watched him throw for probably about 20 minutes, and he was throwing, different balls in and out of there. And I don't think he missed in the entire 20 minutes that I was down there watching him bowl, just one after another. He can definitely play.
David Sr., the 1992 regular doubles champion here at the Open, as well as a 300 back in the team event during the 1988 event. So Dave certainly knows his way around the game.
I'm going to go and make my own call on Dave Sutar. Judging by Wikipedia alone, I'm going to retract my statement that Dave Sutar was a Kansas native. I don't know where I was. I should be ashamed to call myself a historian to think I knew that. But maybe there's some connection to Kansas that I'm just not aware of. But or I'm just completely confused.
Worse things have been said, Brent, so we'll forgive you on that one.
As Jeffrey stands up here, they had 150 onto their total, 32-34, so have a high 3,300 still out there.
That's definitely a good team score.
That's a good start after a few early opens. That's 6 in a row.
And it looks like this is going to be just about the last pair done here, guys, at the MBS. Things winding down. No 7 o'clock squads tonight, so we're all going to get out of here early. Might Might try to find some sustenance somewhere and then off to league.
Little cobbler and coffee, perhaps.
Ah, yes. Good call. If you folks, if you do come to Reno and you got a car, please stop by the Black Bear Diner. Best cobbler you'll ever have in your life. And of course, have a cup of coffee with him.
Gotta have the coffee.
That's right. Nice finish there.
Great shot. Finishes with 236. He's in the 720s as well.
Mm-hmm.
720 on the nose.
And we'll see what Bob could finish up with here. He can get to just about 740, right?
Right around there, yep. 489 at the turn. Still has 259 out there.
Oh, that was nice. That's years of tour experience right there. I mean, just gets up and just bam. Tell you what, TV does not do these guys justice. You got to actually just be right behind them and watch them throw shots. Just a pesky 10 there.
Well, with that, Matt and Aaron, I probably need to sign off from here. We drove in from Kansas last night, so I'm lacking sleep. My friends are back in the room. They're probably catching up on what I should be, and I've got the keys to the car, and I'm sure they're all pretty hungry by now. So I think I probably ought to get back there before I get any too many hate text messages from them telling me to hurry up. So thanks again for having me on, guys.
Not a problem, Brent. Thanks for
Thank you, Brent.
Stopping by and giving us all that great information about the upcoming Women's Championships in Wichita and your insight here. So thank you again. You're always welcome.
Sure thing. Thanks again, guys.
I'm gonna try to sneak a word with Bob real quick here.
The ever nimble Matt McNeil making his way over the VIP seating.
And guys, I'm out here with Bob Learn Jr., Mr. 300 himself. Bob, what a great set tonight. Looked like everybody bowled pretty well. Eric struggled a little bit, maybe with the tighter angles, but how do you feel everything went with your game plan? How do you feel, your wrist injury? How do you think everything went tonight?
Well, I mean, we stuck to our game plan. I might have stayed right too long, but I was pretty pleased with our overall performance. The hardest thing about this is it takes 5 guys to be on at one time, and nobody wants to be that guy that's struggling. And, Eric was bowling awesome at TurboTech when we were doing our team practices, and I thought, man, he's 750. I was worried about myself with the wrist, right? So, you know what? Nothing to be ashamed of. We had 1,100 every game. And that's pretty good bowling.
So looking forward to tomorrow. Any predictions or what do you different strategy? What do you guys think?
Well, I'm bowling doubles with Jeff Ostring, and he's throwing the ball awesome. So I think we have a good chance in the morning to throw a big number up. And we have team all events ahead of us. So you never know what tomorrow brings. We got to be optimistic. 7 in the morning is a little early, but Dave Bernhard Jr. birthday, so we're going to go out and celebrate a little bit and just come in as loose as we can be tomorrow and let I got a partner that can strike like crazy, so I'm just going to try to stay with them.
Well, it sounds like a great game plan, and once again, great shooting tonight. Thanks for giving all of us on the live stream a great show tonight.
Thank you, Matt, and thanks for everybody that tuned in tonight. One of these years, we're going to take it. We're going to take this back home. I need an eagle like you, pal. The thing that I'm stuck with is no eagle here. So I've had a lot of years, but you didn't have a lot of years either. You got a bunch of them. So I'm going to work at that tomorrow and see what happens.
Well, best of luck to you, and back to you guys up in the booth. Bob Learn Jr., Mr. 300, everybody.
All right, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Bob. That's going to just about do it for our show here today. Once again, Turbo Grips 1 and 2. Turbo Grips 2, 33-73. Led by Bob Learn Jr.'s 737 series. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in today, as well as special guests Matt McNeil, Brett Bowers, Eric Pearson, and of course, my mentor Matt Cannizzaro, who's been working hard today. So that'll wrap up our show for today. That's the news for now. See you on the lanes.